Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing out there? Let's get it. We got another big news item coming out this morning, and we'll see how the markets react. Will it be a pop or will it be a drop? So let's go, let's go, let's go. It's hot in here too. I got a little bit of knocking already. Let's go look at the news real quick. Just to leave that whole workspace. Fantastical. So we'll pull up the news and then see what all we have for economic data coming out. I know we have Warsh testifying today. Should have PPI coming out too. I gotta rebuild these windows. I went to go click on it, I deleted it. So give me a moment. How'd you guys do out there last night? Last night, if you guys were on the stream, we had a good night. I got a trade to share with you guys that we did last night. The overnight trade. If you guys were on the stream, you guys know exactly what trade I'm talking about and I'm referring to, which we'll cover here in just a few moments. Okay. All right. Let's see. What do we got for news out this morning? All right. 8:30, we have core PPI coming out. We have Empire State Manufacturing Index coming out. 10 o'clock, Warsh is going to be testifying once again. So we shall see. Sit out last night. Yeah, last night I had a decent night. I wouldn't say the best, not the worst. Just a decent night. Pretty happy with it. The trade that I'm referring to last night. Let's see. I'll put this on a 5-minute chart. Just so we can see it. So here's the trade last night. It went something like this. We're talking about this on the stream last night. We put this trade on stream last night. So if we were to look, where do we go? 866 to 36. So that's pretty decent. If we get the calculator out real quick, how many points did we get on that trade? And then we can figure out how much I actually made on it. Let's see. And this is a trade that we kept talking about all night on stream. I laid it out. So this is one of the overnight trades that I do all the time. All right. So 169 points times 2. So that trade made $339. One micro. One little micro right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Loving it. Which I like it a lot. So anyhow. Hey, Brad, good morning. Paul, good morning. Hey, BK. CL? Yeah, I don't know if I want to touch CL. Look at the overseas markets. Nikkei was up 1,000. Closed near session highs. HSI up 340. We do have the DAX down this morning. CAC is up 20 points, and the Kospi was up 6.25%. With the volatility index down 18 cents here at the moment. So, all fun stuff. Hey, Block Talk, what's up? What's up? Let's see. they're trying to bring it down right now. They're trying to bring it down. I'm not here today, Nightbot. Yeah, hey, BK, I've traded MCL a little bit, but they're trying to smack this thing down here a little bit. We got a little bit of movement here this morning. I do want to go look at ASML. ASML had earnings out. ASML is up 2.63%. Yes, again, smacked down here a little bit as well. So if we look right there, there's a NASDAQ, ES. Ugh. Hey, Roger Sam, good morning. So they're smacking it down here a little bit. A little bit. Let's see. And today, if we can get to 200 likes, we're going to do that Take Profit Trader account giveaway today. So let's get it. Good looking out, Chris. Ooh, smash that lucky like button. I'm not even doing it myself. Slacker. Again, we have that news coming up here in about 24 minutes. It looks like I'm going to be lucky number 31. Bam. All right. Got my lucky like button push in. So, hey, Benjamin, good morning. Jay Loves. Yeah, Raphael, today's my birthday. So, 21. Woohoo! Who's going out? Who's going out to the clubs with me tonight? 21, man. Seems like it took forever to get here. Hey, thanks, BK. Man, oh man, oh man. I gotta turn the AC up in here. Let's see if the market's gonna give me a birthday beatdown. Oh, hopefully not. Hopefully not. That would be not so fun. Thanks, repeat. So it looks like the US was striking Iran this morning too, from what I'm reading the news. Strikes ended at 7:30 a.m. Brian Austin Green. Oh man. Let's see. So what's good? What's the market's gonna do for us today? Oh, hey, I appreciate that. Thank you, Samit. What are the markets gonna do? Right now we're below the VWAP. And last night we were talking about this on stream. And I was actually long that M&Q and I was kicking myself. It's like, dang it, I really want to flip it short before we got off stream. So we got off stream somewhere around 11 o'clock last night-ish. But we had this little pull here and we came back. I was like, man, it's starting to look a little bit heavy. I think I kind of want to flip it and go short. But I was like, nah, I'm going to hold out for that target. So ultimately, I would have taken a little bit of heat, but 980, I would have been targeting. It would have been good for about 80 points. But not really a fan of how this looks. Right now, we are below the VWAP. Came below it, kind of retested the VWAP, came back down. Retest, it came back down again. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of times, hey, Paul Rodriguez, I appreciate that. Hey, thank you, Raj. Hey, so a lot of times CPI will push the market one way and PPI does the exact opposite. So we gotta get a big nasty flush. That could be the case. Could be the case. We'll see if we get more escalations over in the Middle East. US was still striking this morning. Crude oil right now is not shooting up at this point. So crude oil starts coming down. That should be favorable for the markets as well. Yeah. Well, right now we have the Dow down 3 points, the Russell down 2.6, S&P is only up 4.25, and we have the NASDAQ up 89. But maybe we get a little flush down this morning to fill the gaps. So if we were to look, we had a gap from yesterday, and then this morning, here's where we closed yesterday. This morning we're up above here. So, oh yeah, hey Raphael, that'd be great. That would be great. 20K, that'd be a fantastic day. But I doubt that'll happen today. I'm not gonna be trying to push it too much. I don't want to get a birthday beat down, so. I do need to go check something though. Cycle pattern bottom. Nice. Hey KD, so what's the upper targets for today? I haven't posted target yet. All right, let's see. This is a screenshot. Trying to make sure this is not going to be considered a tier 1 news event. I'm just trying to check in on that real quick. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So we're going to see, is it going to be a big rip or a big dip? Ugh, we got the news coming out here shortly. Hey, ready? Good morning. Oh, hey, Trading Life. Oh, nice. Happy belated birthday. All right, so we're coming down. We have PPI coming out, which is going to be a producer pricing index. So it's another measure of inflation. So they're expecting the core to come in at 0.3, previously 0.4. Month over month, they're expected 0.0 and previously 1.1. Now let's go look at how it's been tracking. So it bumped up in May. Let's just compare this number to the CPI real quick. If we go to, let's pull this up. See if we can get an idea. They're just pulling this market down right before this comes out just so they can buy it back up. Yeah, hey, Eagle Eye, I got a funny story. Oh, Eagle Eye, it's your birthday today. Hey, happy birthday, twin. Oh, speaking of twin, I know somebody else has the same birthday as me. I got it. All right. Hey, Eagle Eye. Hey, here's a funny story. So when I was a kid, oh, actually, let's pull this up. I'll tell you this story. It's funny. Oh man, you guys will get a crack out of this. It's pretty funny. So let's overlay the CPI with this. All right, here's a CPI. So CPI peaked out in March. When did PPI peak out? Not till May, 2 months later. So we're going to come in a little bit hot on that PPI, hotter than they expect. You can see the graph right here. CPI peaked out in March. April went down a little bit. May went down a little bit. And then, the one report we just got. Oh, actually, hold on. No. This is going to be, because we don't get that number released until a month later. So it peaked out in April. The April reading. So look, this peaked out 1 month before the PPI did. So the PPI may be coming a little bit hot. We'll see. We'll see this morning. We got about 15 minutes till that news release comes out. Hey, so here's a funny story. So when I was a kid, my mom used to read horoscopes or whatever sometimes, or you see them on TV or whatever. I was like, what's my horoscope? What's my sign or something like that? She says, oh, you're a Cancer. I bawled all night long. I thought it meant I was going to have cancer and die. I cried all night long. Oh, man. That was like the worst night. So line NT candles to TradingView line. Hey, so on TradingView, the candles start. It's the candle start time that's different. So if we were to look at wherever this is at. Right here. Oh. Did I just delete it again? So look, if we look at TradingView, and we'll just do NQ real quick. 1 minute chart. And maybe they have a way to do it. I don't know. They do. But look, the candle pattern will look the same. It's the same candle pattern. But in Ninja, look, we're on bar 818. You hover right over here, we're on bar 17. 18 versus 17. Actually, you know what? That's really weird. Yeah. Because Ninja has it when the candle closes, so it has an 18. But it's the same candle. They're just 1 minute off. I know it drives me crazy when I go back and try to back test. I don't know if... I'm assuming TradingView doesn't have it the same. I'm looking around right now. You know what? Let's do this route. Don't see dump. I will see. We shall see. What's it gonna be? We'll see how the markets behave for us this morning. Hopefully good. So I don't know how to make it calculate on the close of the candle, unfortunately. So that's unfortunate. I'm not going to take any trades until after CPI comes out. We'll see if we get a big rocket ship or a big dump. Keep in mind, if we look, some key levels I am watching. On the NASDAQ, I don't think we came up and filled the gap, did we? The gap was 68.5, I think. Yeah, 68.5. And the high last night was 58.25. No, it was 62.5. So we missed filling the gap by a few points last night. Now on the ES, we're a little bit further away. On the ES, we did not even run the CPI high yet. So we came close last night, but we did not get it. And to completely fill the gap, we need to come all the way up here to 76.26. So we do have a P point down here, which has not been hit yet. Maybe we get a quick flush down there. And on the NASDAQ, that P point's even lower, 29,672. So we'll see. VWAP on the ES right now is around 701. And on the NASDAQ, it's about 936. So we got about 10 minutes until this news comes out. So we're going to see, are they going to push it down? Or are they just trying to fake us out here at the moment? Get a little sell-off before the news. Let's go see yesterday. What happened before CPI came out? The CPI came out and we had a rocket ship. Let's go back and look real quick. What were we doing before CPI came out yesterday? Yeah, we were already going up. We were already going up before CPI came out yesterday. Today, we're coming down before the PPI comes out. Yeah, Lucid allows news trading. Lucid does, Tradeify, and actually, all the prop firms I trade with, I can trade this news event. I just double checked MFF just to make sure, and I don't see anything on the calendar for MFF. Let me find it. That's a little bit hard to see, but MFF, I screenshotted their calendar for tier 1 news, and we had CPI was the tier 1 news. I don't see anything for PPI. So TBT, you can trade this. TBT, you're allowed to trade. It's not considered tier 1 news. They would send you an email ahead of time. I got no email. So yeah, I've never been out or had to be out by PPI in the past. They're selling it pretty good. No, I don't try to jump in right before the news. If I do, guarantee I'm going to get it wrong. So trying to get the ES in the red. ES only up 1.5. Actually, I don't think that's correct. Yeah, it is. ES up 1.5. Getting smacked down. We do have a trade detector bubble down here on the ES, which I'm going to go ahead and change this to the New York session one just so I don't forget this morning. I do like the location of that trade detector bubble, but the number is a little bit too small on the ES. So as I adjusted the New York session numbers, it went away. But if we had that bubble right there, I do like the location of that. Very good location. PayPal. Let's go look at PayPal this morning. UIPL. Yeah, PayPal's up 19%. Wow. Wowzers. That's huge. That's big. So, news in about 7 minutes. No, hey, JD, all the prop firms, they don't have this news event considered a tier 1 news event. So it shouldn't be an issue. So TBT, we can trade, we can be in a trade, whatever. Now on the ES, we are back at this second deviation band. You know what? I should have screenshotted that. That way, some people weren't in here. I said we would talk about that trade from last night. So, again, if you guys were on stream last night, you guys remember that micro trade. I said one of the trades I do on a very consistent basis. I had to learn how to do that trade back when I had a full-time job. That was one of my main trades because I couldn't be bothered by doing it. And that micro trade was good for about 160 something points. So right there, there's where we put it on stream last night. You see, we're coming back down towards the VWAP. Bam, hit it. And front running that gap being filled, which we never did fill the gap yet. So that right there, bang. Got out 1 o'clock. I actually seen it hit. I was still up. I didn't go to bed yet. I was watching to see, is it going to hit? So. Yeah, on the ES, deviation bands aren't that far apart yet. So overnight, what has the range been for Let's just go see. ES might flush here a little bit too. ES range has only been 30 points. NASDAQ, we've had a range of 317 points. And NASDAQ really looks like it wants to come all the way back down towards the overnight low and maybe that P point. A lot of this is going to hinge here on this news coming out here in just a moment. Yeah, hey J-Lo. So Apex's intraday accounts are always a little bit cheaper. And their activation fee, they currently have a sale on those accounts as well, with a special activation fee. You can get some of the accounts cheaper than $59. I think it's like 17 or something, 17, 19. Yeah, we'll see if everybody's thinking we're going to flush down. You know, if everybody's thinking we're going to flush down and that news comes out and it's not as bad as they're anticipating, we're going to see a big rocket ship. The fact that we're already coming down has me like, does somebody know something? Does somebody know something? It's usually different on all accounts. Let's go check though. I think they had it for $59 for all of them. Let's just double check that. We got a few minutes waiting for the news to come out. Sale ends in 6 days. Use code Mike. But if you go intraday trailing drawdown, let's just see real quick. For the 25K account, $59 activation. 50K account, $59. 100K, $59. 150K, $59. But for the EOD, so if you want end of the day trailing drawdown, activation fee is going to be a little bit more. So 150K account it'll be $159. Be $159. 100K activation fee will be $139. 50K it'll be $119, and the 25K account would be $99. But you're paying cheaper for these accounts. So if you're a person that blows up a lot of accounts, you know, paying the activation fee isn't bad. Now, you do have an account with no activation fee. You can click right there. So you just pay for the activation fee. They give you a discount on the total account. So no activation fee for a 50K account is about $109. That's right in line with a lot of other prop firms. And it's a little bit higher, but it's not craziness. Let's go look. And if you guys do go to I'm trying to bump it up here. But if you do go to profitformike.com, you can also sort or search right down here as well. Then you go click on Apex right up here under firms. Click on Apex. You can see all their different accounts, which I'm going to be working on splitting these up so we can see the different accounts. But the accounts with zero activation fee are going to be the no activation fee accounts. But then you can see all the different activation fees. $59, all the intraday ones. So yeah, low eval prices. A lot of people like that. It was funny because it's, you know, it's love and hate. People hate it. People love it. You know, you're never going to make everybody happy. So I do think that's good that Apex split it up. Those that don't want to pay the activation fee, hey, you can just buy no activation fee account. Yeah. We got about, if you look it up, BK, we got about 15 seconds until the news comes out. Will it be a pop or will it be a drop? What's it going to be? They're going to go, pow. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Yesterday we went up. Are we gonna go down today? Oh no, we going up. All right, I want to see what this number was. So they're ripping out. We're gonna go run and fill that gap now. I wants to go see it. Came in better than expected. So if we look right here, I see it on the juice first, but year over year, 4.7 versus 5.1. Core PPI month over month, 0.2 versus 0.3. PPI month over month, negative 0.3. Forecasted 0. PPI year over year, 5.5. Forecasted 6.2. So that's a good number. We got good numbers out this morning. Now, can they hold it? Or are we just going to go boop, right back down? Let's see. Let's see. And again, look, this is something Raj talks about all the time on here. Raj, right off the second deviation band, too. Any coincidence? We talked about it when it was down there. Second deviation band. I wasn't going to play that right before the news. To me, that would just be gambling this close to the news. So we did make it back to the VWAP on the ES and the NASDAQ. How can we hold it? All four of the indices now in the green. And we did have a 9 count. Oh, that was on the MAQ. MAQ had a 9 count down here. Oh, wait, that was a 5 minute. So we had 9 count down here as well in the 5 minute. There's some FEGs up there too. Interesting. Now we do have a trade detector bubble way above the regression channel. Do I dare? Not really. So we have not filled the gap completely. I'm still favoring a gap fill from Sunday night. Doesn't mean it'll happen today, but I am still favoring gaps to be filled. We only made it down to the first band. So. Yeah, usually they do an inverse, Paul, but they're like, everybody knows about that. We gotta trick them. They're gonna think it's going down, then bam. So look, CPIs, hey, all they had to do is get Wash in. The task force is doing their job. Wash will be testifying today. Let me see what you guys want. Let's I'm gonna pull this up real quick. See what you guys think. Start a poll. Hey, so should I stream Warsh today? I mean, do you guys want to be able to hear Warsh as he's testifying today? Let me know. So I probably need to charge my headset. And we'll see what the majority want. And then we can listen to it together. Yesterday, I was listening to it, and I wasn't prepared to get them piped in to the stream. But if we plan ahead of time, I could probably work that out today. Hey, they got better chefs, Paul. There's a new chef in town. Remember, Wash said, hey, we're trying to come up with different ways to look at inflation. Different ways, different metrics. Maybe he threw some of those metrics over to the other departments. Said, no. I know it looks like it's high, but we don't look at that no more. Yeah, hey, Mike, probably. And here's the one thing. So everybody wants inflation to come down. And the best way to get inflation down is a recession. Nobody wants a recession because then people are out of work. That's bad. So there is no good. The best case. No, you just don't get high inflation ever. Then you don't have to worry about going through a recession to fix it. Why do you think prices went up so much when we had all these high inflations? You had more money chasing same goods and services. So, yeah, cooked to perfection. We got the perfect chef in now. So, but yeah, I'm still favoring the gap fills today. I talked about that last night on stream. That was the thesis behind the micro trade that I put on stream, and just let it play out. Like, just let it do its thing. Again, I think that was good for 160 something points. So that just added to the P&L from last night. Yeah, Master of Financial Engineering. Yeah, QE junkie. Marcus like, oh, I need my fix. I need my fix. Ah! Oh, man. Hey, Manuel, good morning. It's a big Ponzi. Yeah, best fix for high prices is high prices. That's true. Once it gets to a certain point, people just won't buy. They don't have the money to. That'll fix inflation as well, but I wish we could have a perfect world where everybody could buy whatever they want. And there's no such thing as inflation. Everything just stayed the same price. Except for the stock market. Stock market, we needed to go up and down, up and down. Otherwise, we get no movement, no opportunity. But everything else needs to stay the same price. Yeah, went right up to the target. Yep, Manuel. Yeah, I actually shared that. I don't have to keep rehashing that, but I showed people the chart earlier. But here's a trade for those of you that weren't on stream last night. Put that on stream. Bink. Had the target set. This is one of the trades I do for overnight. Notice only one contract. One contract accounted for $339 of the P&L. So, yeah, recessions are healthy, depressions are not. No, back in 08, 09, I mean, that was some rough times. Hey, Boss Dog, that's actually pretty good. I was in the grocery store the other day, and I just happened to look up where you go check out, and I seen like a Snickers candy bar. I remember when I was a kid, you can get it for 40 or 50 cents. They wanted almost $3 for it. I was like, oh my goodness. Can't remember the last time I had a Snickers candy bar, but I was like, I can't believe how much the price of a candy bar is now. It is insane. We have all four indices up. I haven't placed a trade yet this morning. Yeah, I see how IBM's doing this morning. Yesterday, IBM got clapped. Woo. IBM was not having a good day yesterday. That's up a little bit this morning. This morning, we're up here towards the upper part of yesterday's consolidation. But yesterday down 25.21%. That's massive. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I thought about buying it. Yeah, it's just, is it going to keep on dropping? What does IBM look like on the monthly? We haven't looked at that. We didn't look at that yesterday. Maybe you guys have checked it out, but I haven't seen it myself. Yeah, on the monthly, though, it still looks like we have further we could go. MACD is just rolled over here a little bit ago. And look, as we came up and made that new high on the monthly, look at the MACD indicator. Clearly had a bearish cross and we had huge divergence. So we pushed a new high. And look at the peak in the MACD. That correlates with that new high. Not even close. Not even close. Don't be surprised if IBM's on its way down to 138. Oh, that's far. Maybe I consider nibbling at 184. And then 138, maybe. That's crazy. You're looking for the gap recovery? Yeah, I don't think we're going to recover that gap just yet, Frank. I mean, maybe we do, but I don't know. A lot of these stocks have been way overdone. They need a little bit of a pullback, in my personal opinion. I gotta put my peers put out some heat. Oh man. What's the situation with stock? I don't know. That's crazy, boss. Yeah, single stock futures that we're gonna be able to trade. Now, hey, I wonder if that's good. I haven't looked into it yet, but hey, will that get taxed the same way futures do? Since technically it's the futures market, or you have to worry about the washtail rule and all that crap. I don't know. That could be interesting though. Stripe and Advent had offered to acquire the company for $60.50. We got the ES still push it up. Now watch this. ES, I still think here's the targets right up here at 26, 76, 26. I said this yesterday on the live stream yesterday afternoon. So in case you guys didn't know, I do the market analysis now at the end of power hour on the days I have power hour, which is going to be most days. I don't know if I'm going to do power hour today. I might go ride my e-foil this afternoon. I charged up the battery last night. So we're trying to push right here. Push it, push it, push it. You got to push it. Don't. Let's get it. Yeah, I haven't placed any trades yet this morning. Everything I made was from last night. If you guys were on stream, you guys saw it. Left with a trade on, and that trade worked out fantastic. But again, low risk, one contract. One contract made $300 and something. $300 and something, one contract. Now look at this options market data real quick. Here in pre-market, you can see this line right here already moving up. The options flows already moving up. And look right up here. We have a little bit of delta up here, or a little bit of gamma up here. And I can't read that number on that screen. This will be about 75.80 on the S&P. That's about another 12 points higher. 12 points higher on the S&P. Let's see where that would put us. So 13. That put us at 25. That puts us right there near filling that gap. So if indeed this gamma acts as a magnet, that would put us right up there near filling that gap. I think that's where we're trying to go. Let's see. Can we get it? So we pull back a little bit. Again, we just hit the second deviation band, so I can't go long now. But down here was the buy setup. Second deviation band to the downside. Now we're up here, so I don't want to be buying at the second deviation band. Even though we could push higher, I really wait for a pullback down towards VWAP or so before looking for a buy. Yeah, watch the CPI print. Right there. What's the high on the CPI print? 13.75. JD says I only trade stocks. Well, let's go see real quick. How's the SMH doing this morning? SMH. SMH is up 0.91%. Now, if you guys were trading the stocks, I think it had a reverse split today. Yep. Adjust drawings. All right. Oh, no pre-market trades because of the split adjusted. Dang it. So we can't see the stocks until 9. Oh well. Oh well. Let's look at 10-year yield. How's that hand? Ooh, 10-year yield got smacked down on that PPI news. So if 10-year goes down and the VIX is headed on down, we should be all clear going up towards filling those gaps. Oh, hey, JD, ABC pattern. Let's go look. This could be an ABC pattern right here. I don't know. Let's see if that was a deep enough retracement for the way I like it. No, we didn't retrace 38% there, so I can't look at that as an ABC pattern for myself. What we got to be on the lookout for, though, is this going to turn into a head and shoulders? Left shoulder ahead, right shoulder over here. Now that I've talked about head and shoulders, watch, it won't play out. It'll just rip right up. And if I go to trade this as a head and shoulders, it'll end up being a failed pattern. I feel like I don't have very good luck. If I look at head and shoulders after the fact, I see all the ones that work. If I trade it, they just simply doesn't work. Now, to be fair, I haven't made that a primary strategy, so. So I don't really have a true good sample size of that. And we have the market open in here in just a little bit, so. Now, if you guys want to vote, should I stream Warsh today on testifying or not? I'll leave that poll up here for about another 3 to 5 minutes. And then we'll get our normal pull up for the popper drop, first 1 minute candle. I do like this S&P though, up towards that gap fill. I like it a lot. Now let's go look at the gamma levels. All right, here's the call resistance. We are above it. And look, GEX1 is all the way up here at 76.50. 1 day max is way up here. 76.54. All right, what about over here on the NASDAQ? NASDAQ GEX1 was 30,000. We smacked back down. But look, on the NASDAQ, I could see us running all the way up here towards 30,147. I wouldn't mind seeing that either. 30,147. Let's see. Question is, do I want to build a micro position into that? We're right around VWAP right now in the NASDAQ. That might be one of my ideas. Just start off small on it. Sure, I think I am. I'm a little bit late to the party where I normally like to order or enter the order at, but I'm going to try to run it. So we have not filled the gap yet. I just entered one micro onto that. So here's my micro trade, about $3.50. Oh, speaking of chirp, I got my volume up. I haven't heard no chirps this morning. Yep, I do. So I'm going to try to run that above filling the gap, actually. So if I know we have that gamma up here, this call resistance at about 152, I'm probably going to look to target, which will push us over the high of last night, somewhere between 30,100 and 30,150. Somewhere in this area, I'm going to look to target out of that. So let's see if we can get it. ES is already near the second deviation band, so I didn't feel good about taking that for the trade setup. We do pull back on the MES. I may look for that very long as well, but not right here, not right here where we're at. Not without a pullback. And here's the second deviation band where the NASDAQ was right near the VWAP. So that's why I chose the NASDAQ versus the S&P. In case you're wondering why I decided one over the other. Now we do have a little wall of liquidity up here on the ES as well. Kind of light on the liquidity, but I like how these liquidity levels are stacked. So 24 up here to 26. That kind of correlates with the gamma we're seeing over here too. And the options flows are going up. So I do favor that. Doesn't mean the market doesn't open up and, you know, smacks me right in the face, but Florida Wall Street is shorting. Come on, let me get my target out first. Come on, Mr. Market. Give me my target first. I haven't tried here. Let me go try real quick. I'll try to log in real quick. Let me get to TBT, get my credentials. I'll log in and check that for you. I don't normally log in and check my drawdown and stuff. I kind of know where I'm normally at. At least I got a good feeling I do. Let's see, broke out. Let's see. Copy. No, hey, I can log in, no problem. I can log in, no problemo. It's been so long I logged in, they got some other document I gotta sign. I gotta click. Oh my goodness. Accept. There we go. Yeah, I logged in, no problem. Targeting 76.30. Let's get it. Yeah, I like that target. I do like that target. Again, we have this GEX being built out up here as well, which is right near that gap being filled. Gap being filled is around 26 actually. 76.26. In that micro trade, let's not jinx it, but it is going in the right direction. Yeah, I'll take it all day, any day. So we only need about 13 more points. Not even. Probably about 12 points to fill the gap. 12 and a quarter points. So. Point to trade one micro. Well, if we pull back, I'm going to DCA into it. And just like last night, I traded one micro. Put the trade on, low stress, $330 something. And just to put this in perspective, if you could replicate that every trading day of the year. Again, there's going to be losses, but let's look at the best case scenario. One micro, you do that same trade every night. 339 times about 250. That make you an additional $84,000 a year. One micro. Don't have to sit there and micromanage it. So I still scalp along the way. I just haven't placed any yet. Haven't done any yet. I'm hoping to get a pullback on this ES so I can smack the ES. And I'll look to scalp the NQ as well. Hey, Brad, I do it quite often. I would do it most days. Some days I have 250 point trades on that. And some days I lose too, but I can always DCA into it and usually work it out. I have a very high hit rate with that. Actually, was showing a friend of mine. He's like, hey, why do you still do that strategy since you don't work no more? And I actually pulled up the stats and filter out my stats for the year and showed him. He goes, oh, okay, I do that too. So, oh yeah, gold back up. Let's go look at gold on the chart. Again, that's one of the strategies I trade with the prop firms too. So yeah, gold had a nice little rocket up here. Nice little shoot up in gold with that PPI data coming out. And if you've been coming to the stream any amount of time, like a lot of times I'll start off with 2 micros, but I just don't like where we're at for the 2 micros. So if we're plowing down, sometimes I'll start with 2. And when I do micros, my max position will be 10. Once I get 10 on, a stop loss is going in and I'm just wrong on the trade. But ideally, I really want between, in my head, when I put the trade on, 4 to 6 contracts typically is what I want on that trade. So yeah, 60 points. Hey, in NASDAQ, you can get 60 points like that. It gets going. I mean, even looking this morning, look at this little move this morning from here to the current price. There's 132 points. So and right now I'm up $50 on that 1 micro. You're long on 2 MQ. Nice. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to add. I was gonna add to it last night, but then when we left the stream, I was already up on it. And I was like, I really don't want to go way down there. So I didn't put no ads in last night. So sometimes if I'm already in a trade, I'll have other ads already staged when I go to bed. I wake up in the morning, sometimes those ads are hit, and then we ran up and hit my target. And then what I'll do for the ads is I'll put them on an ATM. So if it's hit, the ATM's triggered, and then it has a target with it as well. So if you're wondering how I handle that, which when we do the nightly streams, you'll see more of that when that's applicable. But last night just wasn't one of the cases for it. I do take a lot of scalps. I mean, it may not look like it right now because of the trade I'm in, but normally I've already placed, I don't know, 5 to 10 trades before the market opens. So, all right, I'm going to shut down the poll. It looks like a majority of you guys want to listen to Wash. So, need to make a video on that. Well, that's an idea, BK. That's an idea. I might. All right, so now let's do the other poll. This will be the poll we do every single morning. All right, are we going to get a pop or will we get a drop with the first 1 minute candle when we open? Let's see what you guys think. Come on, just get it. Get it. Get up there. Please. I'd love to see us just go up there and smack that gap. Just go up there and get it. Drop and trap and then pump. Hey, that's fine too. But I'm kind of green in my trades. In my trade right now, I'm like, do I want to see it to go down? Probably not. If I was already in it, then I wouldn't mind it because I could add some more contracts to it. We're not quite at the first deviation band yet on the NASDAQ. ES is hanging around the second deviation band above the view app. So we do have a 9 count up here as well. What time frame are you in? I'm in Eastern time. So New York time. Down here in sunny Florida. I wonder if it is sunny today. And I need to check something. Oh, 5, 15, 30 minute. The chart on the left right here is a 1 minute. Chart on the right is a Ninja Rinko. It's not time based. And I also look at the 30-minute charts and the 4-hour charts. And the 5-minute charts right over here. So I'm always cycling through the charts. On my other screens, I have a 5-minute with the view app. I have the 30-minute. I have the same chart you guys see right here, put over here because if I stream this screen, it's distorted for the stream. Hey, Saz, I'm going to go ride my E-foil after the stream. I charged the battery on it last night. Be the 4th time taking it out. Which, dang it, I got to find the stupid... Oh, man. I don't know if I'm going to do power hour, then go ride the E-foil, or skip power hour. I haven't decided yet. I guess it depends on how I traded today and how the markets are going. But I got to find my mount that for Costa Rica I took. Probably need to find the charger for my camera too. So I really wanted to record some of it. But let's see. And what time is it? So we're at the top of the hour. We'll go to the volume profile levels here in just a moment. Let's see. All right, trying to pull it back here a little bit. Basically done for the day. Thanks. Oh, nice. Being done early isn't a bad thing. Oh, sweet. Update this morning. Sweet. All right. So let's go ahead and look at some of the volume profile levels. We'll look at the gamma levels and try to formulate a game plan. I can already tell you guys, my base case is I'm looking for the gap to be filled. Normally the Sunday gaps will fill by Thursday's close at 5 p.m. If they don't, then, you know, several weeks before we come back and visit that level. Now look at the NASDAQ on the 4-hour time frame. What do we have? What do we have? Well, we talked about this pattern last night. Do you guys see any pattern on this chart right now? Actually, I see 2 different patterns. Do you guys see any pattern that sticks out to you guys? No, hey, boss dog. So here's what you have to do. Disconnect from your data and just wait. Let everything resettle and then reconnect. But yeah, I've had problems with that on the latest update as well. Drives me crazy. I use the market analyzer a lot to kind of gauge where all the indices are at. So if one of them quits moving or none of them move at all, it drives me nuts. I didn't realize how much I use it. Yep, we do have an ABC pattern up, but look what else we have. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder over here. We kind of talked about this last night on the stream as well. But if we look at this, here's the A to B leg. The corrective move, or the B to C leg, is all the way down here. So the B to C leg, the corrective move, goes from the high right down here to the low. And if you look, we project out here for the target around 490. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to hit this today. All right, this is a 4-hour time frame. I'm not saying we get there today, but we start breaking above this swing point, meaning we fill the gap and we get above this swing point here. This pattern will be validated. And then now we're going to go and start working on trying to hit that 490 price point. Now on the 30-minute time frame, something I don't like today, something I'm not a fan of here at the moment, is that when we look down here, we do have the P point. P point we have not hit. Normally it's 68 to 71% chance. We tested at least once throughout the entire trading session, meaning from 6 o'clock at night until 5 o'clock the following day. So something to think about. But as I look at this, we are above yesterday's value area high. The overnight value area high is going to be way up here, 29,994. It's kind of weird. They have the point of control down here. I don't know that I believe that. So instead, I'm going to use this area as the point of control at 918. And then value area low will be down here at about 857. So one of the ways we can play this is today, if we start breaking above the overnight highs, we sweep the high and we start coming back down. I want to target the value area high. Then we start breaking that. I want to target right around that point of control and then value area low. We start breaking that, retarget the lows of last night and then the P point. So I'm hoping that we go up. And even as I look at this from today's range, we have another potential ABC pattern. It goes something like this: A to B equals C to D. And we project right up here for 183. Now 183 would put us a little bit higher. I don't want to target all the way up here. I'll show you why. I would not want that to be my primary target, because if we do come over here and we look, we do have this gamma resistance or gamma wall right up here at 150. So, you know, I'm trying to take that micro I have right now between 30,100 and 30,150. But the fact that we have this other pattern with a target up higher, I do like that. I don't have to get all the way up there. Right? If I can just get out right here, I'll take my nice little slice of it and call it good. Call it good for that. So that'd be fantastic. Fantastic. Now, if we look at the S&P, what do we have over here for the S&P? All right. I don't really see an inverse head and shoulders. I don't see an inverse head and shoulders, but we do have a potential ABC pattern right down to 50% retracement. And look, A to B equals C to D pattern. Look what we have above this. We have an untested point of control at 76.86. And we have this ABC pattern completing at 76.95. So we have some additional targets to the upside. So, oh boy. So we have some additional targets to the upside. Doesn't mean I have to target this, and doesn't mean we're going to hit that today. But this could be the path the market's trying to make it towards. I can clearly see this structure pattern that we're trying to. All we got to do is bust this swing high up here, and then it opens the door to those other prices. And again, that probably take later this week or next week before you make it up there, unless Trump comes out and tweets something crazy and the market just goes berserk. Now, in the event that we do break above here, we need to talk about where is the invalidation point of this pattern. And that would be if we come all the way back down, taking out below the swing point here. So below 75.38, that would invalidate this ABC pattern. If we've already validated it, it just would be the point where the pattern ends up busting and it's no longer a valid pattern. So, and patterns do fail. Nothing is 100%. So now on the 30-minute chart, what do we have taking shape? Well, here's that gap to be filled right up here. All right, we're not there yet. We got to bust above, you know, this area. We got to bust above, or we might have actually got above it now. We did. We got above the CPI high, and we need to hold above that. We're above yesterday's value area high. So yeah, Cosby was up good last night. VIX is down this morning. Nikkei was up last night. So we'll see, but I'm still favoring to the upside. If we get a pullback, hey, that's gonna be a blessing in my personal opinion, because as we look right here, we're at the second deviation band on the VWAP. That's why I said I didn't want to trade this yet. See if we can get a pullback at minimum pullback down towards the VWAP, or maybe back down towards the second deviation band before I'm going to be looking for longs on the ES. All right. Now, if you look at the overnight volume profile levels real quick, what do we have? All these drawings. Value high will be 7608.25. So look, we get below that, we can look to target the point of control at 7600.75, and then value area low at 75.98. And then below that, I want to retarget yesterday's point of control, and then really start to focus on the overnight low and the P point. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. If we do pull back on this M&Q trade, I will be looking to add to it. Only got one on it now. Ideally, you know, 4 to 6 is ideal. The max I'll get on it will be 10 contracts. And at that point, I'll have a stop loss in, and it'll probably end up being a losing trade. So we'll see how it all shakes out for today. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Again, we have about 20 minutes until the market opens. So far, I've only placed that one micro trade this morning, which is kind of rare for me. But likely a pullback to establish a bottom. All right, they're bringing it down here a little bit. And what do we have for gamma levels up here? On the ES, we have call resistance all the way up here at 76.50. Then we have the 1 day max at 76.54. I likes it. I still likes it. Now we'll see how the markets react once they open, but I am finding it kind of constructive here at the moment. We had 9 count up there below the regression channel. If we can get some kind of trade detector bubble down here, I wouldn't mind taking that for a little pop back up, a little scalp. You're looking to fade all this. Yeah, I want to see the gaps fill before I really would get excited about a fade. See the gaps fill and then see if we roll back over. For me. All right, it's there. So we'll see how it all shakes out. And we do have Warsh testifying today at 10. So we'll see what's he have to say today. See how the task force is performing. If you guys haven't yet, don't forget to smash that lucky like button. I do truly appreciate it. Your like goes a long way. Yeah, give the gap area. I'm with you on that. Then one, I can quit thinking about that gap too. Jeez. Time frame is difficult to see. There is no time frame on this. This is a Ninzarenko chart. Time is irrelevant. On the left-hand chart, it's a 1 minute chart. So we're on bar number 7 right now. We'll see if we get another 9 count down here. And don't forget, pop or drop at the open. We have the pull up in the chat. Let's see what you guys think. And we gauge that by the first 1 minute candle. All right, short term, we're starting to get oversold. You see the green background. I might look for a little scalp here. Haven't heard the knocking yet. Let's see. Let's see. We did come back down to the VWAP as well. So if you look right there, basically come back down towards the VWAP. Now, can we get a bounce? I do like we are short-term oversold. Very short-term on the Renko. Yeah, I agree with that, Raj, 100%. Maybe we're not going to bounce yet. Just looking for a little scalp. Please, please. And thank you. Come on. Pop up a little bit more. A little bit more. Please. Drop 1,000 points. 1,000 points, that'd be no fun. No fun for me right now. At least not for the micro I have on. So we have about 15 minutes until the market opens. Come on. Just push it. Yeah, I'm not looking for much. Usually I only go for 5 points. I already have my 5 points. Is the greedy going to become the needy? Yeah, I agree. Tape out traders, daily payouts, awesome. And there is no payout cap. Probably got greedy here. I went for more than I probably should have. This trade is only meant to be a little 5-point trade. And I was up 5 points on it. I was like, let me just get a little bit more. I'm going to get out. All right, there we go. Nice little scalp for the morning. Little scalperooski. And if you look right here on the ES, oh, notice we talked about that second deviation band. Why I did not want to buy up here. See that? Can we get a rejection back down towards the VWAP? We're almost there. Almost there, like clockwork. So. Yeah, hey, that's exactly, Kim. You don't want to copy my trades. You want to learn, how I look at different things in the market so you can put your own little twist on it and make your own decisions. I'll good looking out, Chris. 274 people watching. Only 140 button pushes. Dropping to 877 area first to go long. Drop down to 877. I might be interested there to add. Right now, that micro trade was up. It is currently down $38, which isn't nothing big right there. About $39. Yeah, develop a process. Look, we got 9 count right down here as well. So look, we had the 9 count down here. We had the market being short-term oversold. We had the delta divergence. We had the VWAP coming in. So we had a lot of reasons for that little scalp trade that I took. Lots and lots of reasons. You vote, hit the like button for the best results. Love it. So. And again, you could have everything set up perfectly and the trade could still not work. That is a fact. Not every trade is going to work. Even if you do everything right. And that's where a lot of traders I feel really mess up. They say, well, I want to make X amount. And they only look at the good. Well, if I take this trade, what about the bad trades? What about, what are the bad trades going to do to your P&L? And nobody wants to focus on the losing trades. Learn how to lose. You'll find that the profits will take care of themselves. But meaning to be able to identify a trade when it's not going to work out so you can cut the loss early. How many of you guys go through and look at all your trades at the end of each day? Or do you just say, I know what I did today. I know what I did. I look at my trades every single night. Every night. Scroll through the charts. Oh, that was idiot. That was dumb. That was dumb. That was dumb. Gotta stop doing that. Because the more you see it, the more likely you are to be able to fix it. Especially if you have a bad day, you need to definitely go over and look at all your trades. Even on the good days. So you can be reminded of what you did that was right. 300 likes, that'd be pretty awesome, Raj. I don't know if we'll get that, but it'd be pretty nice. We are going to try to do a Take Profit Trader account giveaway, but we got to get those likes up. So your wife will let you forget. I'm fortunate with that. My wife is amazing. I'm very fortunate. My wife's never given me crap about anything. All the hard work I had to put into trading. Very fortunate. And yeah, I was talking about the story last night on stream where when I was trying to learn how to trade, I opened up my first account and realized, hey, this isn't as easy as so before I opened an account, I bought calls in Microsoft, made money, did it again, made money, said, open up a live account, said, oh, this is nothing like it was in the simulator. So then there was a guy on the AM radio station. I listened to him on the way home. My friend turned me on to him and I didn't know what the guy was talking about. ABC this, ABC. I was like, what the heck is an ABC pattern? So then at night I'd listen to his, because he had a website and you could re-listen to the radio station broadcast, and I'd go through all the stocks that he's talking about and try to figure out, what he's looking at, the patterns. And I do that from 6 o'clock at night till 10. Then I'd go to bed, get up, go to work, come home, eat, do it all over again. Every single night. All right, so we look at the market on open orders initially. S&P 54 million to the buy side. NASDAQ's not moving yet. Dow 39 million to the buy side. So we'll check back in on this in about 5 minutes before the open. Let's see how that's going to shake out. $29,880 and then go back up. Maybe it might. Maybe we get a flush at the open. That's what the poll's for. Pop or drop at the open. What do you guys think? What are you guys and gals thinking? Four years, wife still cheerleads. Nice. Hey, Block Talk. Hey, I was not even the sim account I was on was like 20-minute delayed data, and it all started because I was at work and we got paid by the job, so flat rate. I was a mechanic, and so we had no work. We weren't getting paid nothing. You said to stay at work and you didn't get paid nothing. And I was complaining to one of my friends, Mr. Positivity. That guy, I've never seen him down ever. But anyways, he goes, "Well, I learned how to day trade if I had all your free time then." Like, how do I do that? And he goes on Google and finds, I think Investopedia had a simulator back then. And I went, bought a call on Microsoft, made money, did it again, made money. I was like, open up a real brokerage account and realize, oh, it's not that easy. So I only made a couple $100 on both of those trades and said, oh, I'm ready for this. Yeah. I didn't realize how challenging it was going to be. I think my first account, I only opened it up with $2,000. So did not open an account with a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money. So well, hey, so Raj, part of the problem I came into when I started trading is I wasn't buying Apple and Amazon and things like that. I was buying penny stocks because I traded at I almost said prop firm. I traded in my brokerage account was with Scott's Trade way back in the day, home of the $7 trade. And so I'm like, man, if I buy a stock that's like, $40, $50, I can only buy a couple shares, and it's got to move so much just to cover the commissions. Well, man, I can look at some of these cheap biotech. I got a lot of biotech stocks, cheap biotech stocks. I can buy thousands of shares. Only have to pay $7 commissions. Let's get it. Yeah, they didn't usually work out. And probably the best trade, say best because it's kind of funny, but so there's a biotech I was involved in. Just reading all this stuff, I was like, oh, it's gonna go. And they had clinical trials coming up. I'm all in. Pre-market, the stock is, man, it's like $14. I think at $14 or something. I bought this stock at like $2. It's at 14. Account's soaring up. I literally walk across the shop to talk to somebody who needed help with something. Walk across the shop. My other friend goes, oh man, what's happening to whoever that stock was? I can't remember the name of it. So what do you mean? He goes, it's tanking. It's like, get out of here. Come back. Half my account gone. Not only did it give back everything in pre-market, it gave back more. And hey, I was wanting to sell it. This is how much of a noob I was. I didn't know I could trade in pre-market. I didn't know I just had to click the little order type thing, or similar to time in force, TIF, and I could trade pre-market. I didn't know that. And I was just waiting for the market to open. I was going to sell. But because I didn't know I could trade in pre-market, I watched all those profits evaporate. Poof, gone. No, come to find out, the clinical trials didn't come in like they should have. And it tanked. Yeah, 5 minutes to the open. All right, I'm going to close out that poll here in about a minute. So we'll give it 1 minute. So you guys want to vote pop or drop? What's it going to be? Let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm still favoring gaps to be filled from Sunday night. How do you connect TBT to Ninja? Hey, guess what? I got a video for that. That's why I like making those videos. I like taking questions that you guys have and turn them into videos. Let's see. I'll close on that poll here in just a second. Maybe one of my old videos. Yeah. Get shareable link. Hey, here you go. And I just dropped the link in there. There you go. There you go. Hey, Tony, what's up? Thank you. So there you go. There's a link showing you how to do that. Now let's go look real quick. I'm gonna shut down that poll and poll. All right. So if we look, market on open orders, NASDAQ 29 million to the buy side, S&P 37 million, Dow 1.6 million to the buy side. As the market is starting to come down. So let's see, what's it going to be, pop or drop? Looks like a majority of the chat voted for a pop. 56% said pop, 44% said drop. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oil's creeping up. Oh yeah, oil's up $1.05. Let's go look at that oil real quick. The oil was coming down last time I looked this morning. Yeah, oil's on the move back up. Oil was down here last time we looked. Oil's trying to move. That could be a problem for the markets. Volatility index, though, the VIX is down 33 cents. Let's see if we just run up there and just bink. Just tag it. Tag that gap being filled. Or those gaps. NQ and the ES. Got about a minute 30 seconds. Oh boy, oh boy. Can we do it? Can they do it? Oh, it's kind of funny. ES is trying to go up. NASDAQ's not really lifting here. Oil slick. All right, so we got about 50 seconds. Oh boy, oh boy. And we'll see, did the pops get it right or the drops? We'll be judging it by the first 1 minute candle. You know, if we do drop, I'm going to add to that M&Q trade I placed earlier on stream. One last night, did fire off, nailed it. Fantastic trade. All right, here we go. About 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Grab your popcorn. Hey, HM Trader, good morning. All right, ding, 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 ding. Market is open. Let's see. Yes, it's shooting up here. That's funny. Yes. Look at yes. Yes just took out session highs. That's not ripping as much. Yes, shot up a little bit more. Let's see him just keep on squeezing. Hey, no worries. Thank you. Push it. Uh-oh. Looks like the pops may get it wrong. Let's see. How much time we got? I still got 20 seconds. Oh, they got a fight going on right here. It's a fight. Oh, boy. Ah, the pops got it wrong. Slightly down candle, just enough to be red. So on a technical basis, the pops, the majority lost. Dang it. Then watch, now we're going to go down. Yes, it's still hanging out up there, though. Let's go look at the Dow and Russell real quick. Get our bearings this morning. YM. Yeah, YM whipped down here a little bit. RTY. Yeah, RTY is ripping here. RTY is ripping. And we compare it to the NASDAQ. All right, what about SPY versus RS? The SPY's up 0.36. RSP is up 0.22. Not that far apart. This is going down here a little bit. All right, ES looks like it wants to fill that gap. All right, ES is trying. That gap fill is at 76.26. Can they get it? Oh boy. Can they do it? They're trying. They are trying. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Good point. Look, NASDAQ's struggling here a little bit. Let's go look at the heat map real quick. Believe it or not, we didn't actually check the heat map in pre-market. Even. So, NVIDIA's up, Apple's up, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, Tesla, SpaceX. All the Mag 7 are in the green. ASML's up. The VIX going down, but NASDAQ's still struggling here a little bit. So ES is still trying to fight to go up here. I don't like that trade detector bubble up here. If you're looking for a long, a little problematic. I don't like where we are in the bands either. So if you look up here, we're back up here in these VWAP bands. We're at the third band basically. Yikes. Yikes. And we had that bubble up there. Is that a good short? I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I do think that I could make a little scalp off that to the downside. The fact that we are so close to filling that gap, I think I'd rather see the gap fill first. Rather wait. So I'll pass on that. Only because we have the gap fill a little bit above us. 76.26 is the gap fill. So. I'm still trying to push it here. All right, NASDAQ's starting to come up here. You see the ES too. Let's go, let's go, let's go. They're getting it. They're getting it. All right. I was in that with the prop accounts. I want to go ahead and get out of that. So I'll show you guys where I'm at in the prop accounts today. That was a nice little pump there. That was a nice little pump. I likes it. That was a fantastic day. Hey, so here's the prop accounts for the day. So TPT accounts, grand total about 4,800. We have the Apex PA accounts up about 4,900. All the other prop accounts up about 17,000. That's a fantastic day. I gotta be honest with you. I'm pretty excited about that. So I think I'm done with the prop accounts for today. I think that's going to be good enough. So let's get it. All right. So now we can focus on the other ones. NASDAQ's trying to come down here. Let's see. Are we going to get a buying opportunity on this NASDAQ? Let's go look at the profile real quick. Yeah, look what we have right here. Could be setting up a possible A to B equals C to D pattern on the way down. So look, if we do break right here, if we break the B point here, well, one, we've never validated the ABC pattern up. So how do you set the copier up? I actually got a video on that too. Let's see. Let's see. Let me find you the video real quick. Get shareable link. Let's see if this is it. Bam. Hey, there's a link for that. Oh, all those tabs? Well, I set them up differently. So the reason I've been experimenting here a little bit. So I started breaking them up. I was trading them all at the same time, but it was messing with me because the only accounts I have with daily loss limits are the Apex accounts. So I want to trade those a little bit differently. So down here on the, down here on the copier, right here, I think is the Apex tab because they have a daily loss limit. So I trade those a little bit differently. TPT accounts, I've been trading those a little bit differently, a little bit more aggressive. Trade a little bit more contracts on these accounts recently. And then here's all the other ones, which I'm probably going to request a payout from Tradeify this week. I can do it right now, but I'm probably going to wait. I'd like to build up a little, famous last words. I like to build up the account a little bit more before I take the payout, but they're at least at payout. Hey, Elevated Life. Oh, thank you. So yeah, look, nice little dip. So look, the ABC pattern that we talked about possibly this morning, we never came out and took out the B point, but now look, it appears we are going to be taking out the B point to the downside. So look, target 787. 787. Let's get it. So look down here. I'll look to add to that micro. I got one micro on right now. I'll look to add to it down here. In the meantime, I can short the NQ down towards that level if I get setups. So let's see. Did we actually take it? No, I don't trade minis in the prop accounts. I only trade micros. In my account, I trade minis, but not in the prop accounts. Prop accounts, I'll trade minis to pass the evals. Then after they're passed, I switch down the minis, reduce the risk. Now see if you're long. Oh, you're already long? All right, nice. Yeah, you call it 880, right? Hey, be careful because we might flush down to ABC target at 787. So I'm looking for shorts. And then looking to add to my micros down around here is what I'm looking for right now. We'll see how it pans out. Maybe good, maybe not. So we'll see. Washington's going to be testifying here in about 20 minutes. Hey, look, we did not fill the gap yet either. So we need to hit 20. Oh, we did. We did fill the gap. 26 and a quarter. ES hit it. Oh, man. Let's look. Just double check. Gap fill was 26. We went over it by 1/4. All right. Gap was filled. Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Nice. Look at it. Yeah, ES doesn't look nearly as weak. But ES and NASDAQ. But we did take out the B points. So that pattern is validated on the NASDAQ. Pattern is validated. All right, we need to pop up here a little bit though. I don't want to short it below the lower regression channel. So we get back up in this area here. I may look for a short. Well, yes, we have VWAP at 708. On the NASDAQ, we have VWAP at 934. And if we look, where's that second band? Second band's at 812. So down between 812 and 752, I wouldn't mind, start looking for ads for the pop back up. So we'll see. Let me see how the options flow data is going. Yeah, options flow data puked. The options flow data that was looking pretty positive, bing, they slammed it right back down. So let's see if we get a little bounce here so I can get short. Yeah, if we get down to that second band, I'm going to add to my M&Q. So let's see. So we have the downside target. Can we flush down there? Then do they buy it back up or not? I don't know. I'm looking for a little bounce up. We look for the EMAs to weaken here a little bit. And I'm looking to go short. Only because we had that ABC target down here at 787. And we do have a P point down even lower at 672. So let's see if we can get up here a little bit more and then I'm going to smack it. ES is starting to come down here a little bit. VWAP on the ES at 7608. We're at 13. So. Dang it. Let's see. Are they going to get me on this one? They might. Yeah. I knew I kind of FOMO'd into that one, but that's fine. I'll give it another shot. You gotta stop me out again. Hey, Brian, appreciate that. You stupid market. Got me twice. All right. Let's see. Is this going to end up turning into a failed pattern? Pattern is validated. So if we do go up, the invalidation point of this ABC pattern is up here at 29,999. Let's say 30,000. About 30,000 if it's a failed pattern. So no worries. Yeah, select demo and trade debate. Yeah, unless you're in a live funded account, you want to click simulated. You stupid market. Come on down. There we go. There we go. Made back what I lost plus a little bit more. Thank you, Mr. Market. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, here's that ABC target. I said I want to keep gunning for 787. Do we get down there? Yeah. Bam, smack it. Let's get it. See, so I have losing trades too. You can't let it affect you though. Coming right back on the opening price. Opening price is right below us. 805. And we're down by the second deviation band. We're down by the second deviation band, so be careful. NASDAQ has not filled the gap yet either. So be careful. We're out of area. All right, where we could get a little bounce. A little bounce, 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 bounce. Let's be careful about that. Now, ideally, I like to see the ABC target hit first, but that was yummy. So again, we have that ABC target, 787. What's taking the NASDAQ down? Let's go look real quick. What is taking the NASDAQ down? NVIDIA's up barely. Oh, MU's down. Oh, here we go again. MU, Cisco, Marvell, STX, Intel, ASML. They had good earnings, and they're going down. That's not good. I thought they had earnings. Didn't they have earnings? Yeah, they had earnings this morning. Here we go. Yeah, surprise beat by 9.68% on earnings. Revenue a beat of 4.23%. Not bad. And yet we're coming down. VIX trying to pop up here a little bit, but it is down. Crude oil is right near the VWAP. ES did hit the VWAP. So ES, we were talking about that, maybe going back down to the VWAP. There we go. And look at this, like clockwork. Like clockwork. Right here near the second deviation bands, bam, right back to VWAP. Like clockwork. Rinse and repeat. Happens on a pretty consistent basis. All right, we've almost hit that ABC target right here. We've almost hit it. Now the opening range, let's go ahead and map out where the midpoint is, because that may be a target location I want to focus on. If we get back above the opening range low. It's a big if. Four. All right, there we go. So look, we start getting back above the opening range low. I do want to focus on that midpoint. Look, we did take out the ABC target right over here on the 30-minute too. ABC target, bam, smashed. So smashed it. So NASDAQ did not fill the gap on that pump up. We hit 62.5. The true gap fill is up here at 68.5. So we missed it by about 6 points. Now the question is, do we turn and start going back up? All right, we're down there by a second deviation band on the VWAP. So do we turn and start going up? Maybe. Or are we just gonna drop like a rock? Options flow data is still pretty negative here at the moment. Keeps getting weaker. But here's the options flow data right here, that magenta line screaming to the downside. Yeah, I do want to check something real quick. If we look, this could get ugly here. If we break past that. Look, those bubbles up there, I talked about that. I like the location when we ran up for those bubbles. We had a lot going on there. I should have shorted that. I did not, but I should have. 940, nice. If you traded it in your TPT accounts, it will show. So you have to make sure your TPT is selected in the chart trader window. Or if you have a trade copier, your leader account is in the window. So look on your platform. If it shows on your platform, then yes, it'll show on TPT, but not till tonight. Tonight, 7:45 to 8:15-ish, it'll probably show up. Let's go. Let's go. Man, they're getting that NASDAQ. They're doing NASDAQ dirty. NASDAQ down 18. So look, NASDAQ filled the gap. If we look from a gap perspective, look at the ETFs. Gap filled. Straight down, gapped up, boom. No hesitation, just went right down there. Russell's trying to get down here, fill the gap. Almost got it on that little wick. Diamonds, Dow Jones, not quite yet, filled the gap. In SPY still has a little ways to go to fill the gap as well. Now, do we fill the gap and then maybe firm up? Or is that all she wrote? Is the inflation numbers that are coming out actually showing that the economy is slowing? Which would not be a good thing either. I don't know. All right, VIX is still down for the day, though. So that NASDAQ, they smashed the ABC target. I'm going to go ahead and remove the ABC target off the chart since it's already been, that target has already been completed. We do have the P point down here. And look, here's the overnight low. We talked about this in pre-market. Can we sweep the overnight low and then get back above it? That's another trade setup I would like. So let me just draw a horizontal line right across there so we can visualize it. Here's some on the Rinko. Yeah, Sandisk and MU also in the red. We're starting to get down here quite a bit where I may not mind it. They're smacking it pretty good. Let's see. Straight barreling down. Let's see. I'm in Florida. Shouldn't play with falling knives. Hey, Gary, but that's what parents always do. They try to take all the fun out. They say, don't touch the stove. It's hot. Ow, son of a beep. Oh, hold on. I'm going to try to get Walsh's testimony set up. Now, if I'm going to... Let's do this. I'm going to get Walsh over here. So we can hear what he has to say. I gotta get it all set up though. Oh, so what time then? So it's Eastern time for me. So if you're one time zone behind, I don't know. Is all of Texas in the same time zone, or because Texas is huge, or is it two different time zones? I don't know. Let's see. Let's look. Oh, it looks like Texas all in one. Yeah, all Texas is in one time zone. All right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was split. I just looked it up. I mean, it's huge. So it'd be 1 hour before me. So 6:45 to 7:15 at night, it'll show up on their back end. Show your results for the day. But if you look on your trading platform, you should see that account with however much you made. Okay, I gotta figure out how to set this up. Let's do this. So let me mute this and make sure. Okay. Try and get the all set up for a wash coming out. Put him down there in the corner or something. Where's it at? And yeah, we're gonna do that. Oh man, trying to get it. All right, is that the turn? Watch. We never made it to past the overnight low right here. I was waiting for that. Can we get past the overnight low and then come back up? Yeah, so if you see it on TradingView, you're good. It'll show up tonight. If you see the account has profit on TradingView tonight at your time, 6:45 to 7:15 it should show up on Take Profit Trader. All right, so let's see. Now, if we do get above the opening range low, I am going to be actively targeting the midpoint of that opening range. All right, so we got to wait. If then syntax, right? If we get back above here, I then want to target that point. We stay below the opening range low. I don't want to target way up here. No, thank you. So now, oh, let's see if this does it. I gotta do a little test. I want to listen to Wash myself. So let's see. They got sound coming. Let's see. Okay, I do have sound there, but I don't hear nothing. Yeah. All right, maybe they just have no sound playing yet. All right, let me change one more setting. I think we should be good. All right. Oh, that's not working. Okay, let's try. Trying to figure this out. You gotta work with me here. Maybe. Nope. Oh. Can't figure out how to get the sound in. Why will the sound not work today? Trying to get the sound in so we can listen to Wash. I'm trying to rip it. Hope I don't miss this. Hope I don't miss it. Okay, now I got it right. Okay, I got it right. All right, so I gotta turn the slider up. All right, so I'll be able to bring Wash in once he starts speaking. Just gotta wait for him, then I'll bring him on over. All right. So now we can pay attention. Hey, ES is going up. ES has actually had a pretty good turn off that bottom. All right, ES had that trade detector bubble right here. Lower regression channels. Son of a gun. Missed it. Nice right up here at the high, right here at the low. Yeah, we can trade during Wash's testimony. Yeah, just like yesterday. No restrictions. Well, at least no restrictions with the prop firms I trade with. So Take Profit Trader, you're good. Lucid, you're good. Tradeify, you're good. Apex, My Fund and Futures, and Perdia, I can all trade with. BLS nominee. Let's see a little bit of news coming through. Let's see if they're going to push it back up or not. But yeah, I'm just kind of waiting over here. Waiting to see, can we get back above the opening range low? If so, I'm going to start taking scalps up towards this area. Up towards 902. So 902, 902, 902. Let's get it. There we go. All right, we got back above it. Now let's see if we can pull back towards the EMAs. I don't want to get in. But again, look at where we turn from, guys. Oh, right there, second deviation band. Whoop. No surprise. Just like we showed with the ES earlier. All right, let's see if I can get involved in this. Let's get ready. Oh, hit my target before I can move it. Dang it. So we'll see if we can get a second attempt at this. So 902 is the midpoint. Yeah, trading is definitely not easy. Dang, I was up 200 on this trade too. Back to the bears. No, no bears yet. No. Let me get out of this long. I don't like how it's not pushing here. I think he's going to take me out here. We are above the opening range low, so let's see if we can get the rotation up. Rotation back towards the midpoint. 902 is the midpoint. I'm not going all the way from the midpoint yet. Plan to see if I can take a couple scalps up towards that area. Screw it. I'm going to take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm not going to be greedy. So I'm still waiting for wash to come on. Trading is super easy. You lose all the time. And you know what's funny is if you say, I want every trade to be a losing trade, you're going to find out that you can't even do that. You're going to have trades where you win. So I feel like I'm pretty decent today on my trades. So, and now my AC is freezing me out of here. Let's pop that up a little bit. There we go. Close long, maybe too early. No, I don't know. I still think we're trying to work our way up to 29,900 is where I think we're trying to work up towards. So let's see if we can get here. Again, the NASDAQ has not filled the gap. Remember TPT, they made another 1K trying to lose. Yeah, 1K, that's nice. I tell you, it's harder to lose than people think. If you want every trade to be a loss. Here's a 9 count, but look, we're coming right back up. Probably going to take out those highs. Can we get the NASDAQ up there to fill the gap? Fill it. That would be special. I'd love to see it. Love it. All right, where are we at? Man, I'm liking this. View app 29,904. Yeah, 904 is where I got the view app at right now. And look, we're trying to come up towards it. We had a good reaction off that second deviation band right here. Right there. Whoop. So view app would be, look, view app's right there at that. That's probably what you're saying, Eddie. View app is right there at that midpoint as well. So the midpoint of the opening range is right where view app is at. I like that. I like it even more now. Even more so. I still would like to see the NASDAQ fill the gap today. Yeah, watch out. Trump can tweet something. I'm still waiting for the, I'm going to bring this over once it starts. I'll make sure I'm not going to play any music where I get copyright strike or anything. So as soon as they get speaking, I will bring it over. NVIDIA back at New York session low. Let's go check that real quick. Let's go looky. Heat map. NVIDIA is down. Look at, wow, MU is down 3.16%. Let's go look at this real quick. MU. That doesn't look so hot. That does not look hot. What about SanDisk? Yeah, SanDisk pulling back here a bit. Oh, hey, Tony, I appreciate that. No news, just normal ebbs and flows in the market. Nothing crazy. We do have Washington going to be testifying here shortly. Bitcoin's up slightly. VIX is down 46 cents. Wow, that was loud. Holy crap. They went bow, bow, bow. Let's see if I can. All right.
Its credibility,
Let's see if you guys can hear.
especially to the general public.
Let me know how the sound is.
The decisions that the Fed makes affect everyday life
How's
in
it go
South
again?
Carolina and around our country. For example,
Let's get it.
those decisions affect the mortgage payment a couple is trying to afford, the credit card bill a single mom is trying to pay down, and the decisions a small business
Yesterday, I was
owner
impressed
makes
with the way
about whether
Walsh was
they
talking.
can
I was liking him a little bit
afford
more
a loan
yesterday.
or not. Frankly, the Fed even has impact on the interest rate environment, as you know.
Oh, here goes that 904. I'm not even
Ranking
in it.
member and I have
You
spent
son of a
over a
biscuit
year
eater.
working on a housing bill that will actually help us increase housing supply, help
Let's
us
see.
expedite the process of building a house through NEPA reform. It'll create more diversity in housing selection at the end, the removal of the chassis requirement.
Let's get up
These
here.
are important issues
Let's
that
see if
will
we hit
make
that
housing
midpoint.
affordability
Then
incredibly easier, but it will
Oh, it's
never
louder
get
than
to
me?
the
All right.
main point of interest rates. Interest rates
Is it louder than me now?
that we don't control.
How's that?
We want you to follow the facts, however, because that is really important for the long-term
How's that?
stability of our economy. But in North Charleston, where I grew up, families do not talk about monetary policy, Kevin. They just don't talk in those terms. But they fully understand the principle that when prices rise faster than paychecks, it's really
Not
hard
louder?
to make their ends meet.
All
That's
right.
why affordability must be at the
All right.
center of our conversation.
How's that?
The Federal Reserve has a mandate to pursue and promote a strong labor market through maximum employment and stable prices. Those are serious responsibilities, and I'm glad that you are the man for the job and you've
All right,
taken
how's
it
that?
seriously. They require clear thinking, steady leadership, and the commitment to follow the data, no matter the political ramifications.
All right, perfect.
It also requires understanding the forces shaping our economy, including AI's impact on jobs, wages,
Let's see if we hit that
productivity,
midpoint.
and prices. Independence is not a slogan. It is a responsibility. And the best way for the Fed to protect its independence is to stay focused on its mission.
Yeah, stay focused.
For too many
Get those
years,
task force
the Federal
ready.
Reserve drifted into issues outside of its core responsibilities, and America paid a price for it.
Hey, when he pounded the
Mission
gavel,
creep makes the Fed
bow,
less
bow,
accountable
bow. It's like,
and
what
undermines
is going on?
public trust.
It was loud.
I am encouraged by the steps that you are taking to reform our central bank. That starts with a more disciplined approach
Come
to
on.
how the Fed communicates.
Come on.
Moving away from overly detailed predictions about where interest rates
PTSD.
might be going in the next several months is a helpful step to make sure the Fed is able to adapt when conditions change. Families, small businesses, and markets are better served when the Fed follows the data in front of them, not a forecast.
ES is near those
that may
all-time highs again.
change in an instant. Less guessing and
I
more
should have smacked
discipline
it.
will help the Fed stay flexible, credible, and focused.
I feel like I should have smacked it with the
five
profit counts again
independent
down
task
there.
forces
I didn't do
that
it.
you set up also sends a very important signal
A little
that
upset
the
about
Fed
that.
is willing to start from its core principles and pursue thoughtful reforms to deliver on its statutory mandate. You and I had a quick conversation before walking in here, and I wanted to note that I think
Oh,
that the
hey,
working
BK?
groups are fantastic.
Minimum, you
Now,
want to see a
frankly, I
gap
think
fill.
The composition of the working groups really
Now, if you
important.
add it to it
One of
down
the things
here,
that we
you know,
talked
second
about was the
deviation
balance
band,
sheet working.
midpoint could be a
working
target for some of them.
I must concede that
Opening range
I'm a fan
high
of
and then the gap
Abraham
fill.
Lincoln's approach of these team of rivals.
Depending on how
It
many
seems
targets
like
you have,
You
how many
have Jeremy
contracts.
Stein, you might know Jeremy from Harvard, as well as the former governor of the India Central Bank, Mr. Rajan. They have very nicely put competing approaches and philosophies about the balance sheet. But if you're going to be intellectually honest, you need to have a serious debate about what direction to go and, frankly, how to get there. And so I'm really excited about what you're doing there, and I look forward to hearing how that works out for you, for the Federal Reserve, and more importantly for the American people, because unwinding a balance sheet the size that we have today is going to take a deliberate effort that will have to be paced properly, not to create instability and volatility in our market. So thank you.
Lose the codes for the 40% off. You use code Mike, you'll get 30% off the other accounts.
The economy, the Fed,
but 40% off the pro
its
accounts.
Impact on jobs, productivity, and prices, and the financial system without using technological change to expand its mandate. That same discipline should guide the Fed's approach to bank regulation.
I wish I could make this where it stays on
top. The
top.
U.S. banking system is sound and resilient, but we cannot take that for granted.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can put that.
Preserving that strength requires regulation and supervision that are clear, appropriately tailored, and focused on real risks.
Can't see how to do that.
According to the July 2026 monetary policy report, bank capital is near historically high levels. As the Fed finalizes Basel III Endgame and other capital rules, it should pursue better calibrated requirements that preserve resilience without unnecessarily restricting lending. When capital is stuck on the sidelines,
maybe looking for another trade back up towards the midpoint.
Very difficult to get a mortgage. A small business may find it hard to get a loan. A community bank may spend more time satisfying Washington than serving its own customers.
Well, I'll look for a trade up towards that midpoint, 902.
Will continue pressing
EMA's firm up. I'm going to look for long.
Protect the system without cutting off access to credit. I want the Fed to be very successful. We need the Fed to be successful. Prices become more stable when your job is done well. Markets gain confidence. Wages grow. And more families have the opportunity to save, invest, buy a home.
We already hit the ABC pattern to the downside, Eddie.
Of the American dream.
We already smashed it.
Welcome today. Ranking member, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome back, Mr. Warsh.
I can't stand that lady.
So about 2 months ago, you appeared in front of this committee for your nomination hearing, and you refused to answer basic factual questions. I assume because you were afraid of contradicting President Trump. Your answers during the hearing were so troubling that this committee had
still bullish.
a
Me too.
29 vote for Fed chair.
I'm still bullish too.
For the first time ever in our history. You were confirmed by the Senate in the tightest vote for a Fed chair in U.S.
Come back to
history.
EMAs, I'm going to smack it.
So you now face an uphill battle to show that you have the independence needed to run America's central bank and to serve American families and not just
I'm with you,
President
Randall.
Trump and his billionaire friends.
Pocahontas.
Now, President Trump's corruption and failed economic agenda is raising costs across the board. Inflation has kept real wages from growing.
As long as we're above this opening range low,
that means
I want to try to target
the
the midpoint.
Economy, families are falling behind with less to spend every day that goes by. High interest rates are making mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards more expensive. More and more people are falling behind
by
on
732
their
for
bills.
micros.
95% of Americans believe that the U.S. is suffering an affordability crisis, while President Trump continues to call affordability a hoax, telling Americans their concerns about the cost of living are made up. Lower interest rates would provide some relief to families, but the Fed hasn't lowered interest rates and may be forced to raise rates even more, all because of one man, President Trump. Now, the president knows this. So instead of changing course, he wants to take over the Fed. Installing you as Fed chair was a critical part of his plan. You reportedly told the president
we got to be oversold.
Exactly what he wanted to hear in your Oval Office interview, and Trump confirmed it afterwards, saying, quote, Warsh thinks you have to lower interest rates. Now, for your part, you were the only member of the last Fed meeting who declined to submit economic projections that are supposed to show how the Fed's decisions under your leadership are likely to affect American consumers and American workers. People might look at that
I'm with you,
and
Green.
conclude
I'm with you.
that you don't want to tell the truth about inflation under Trump. Trump may have you in his pocket, but he will not stop until he controls the Fed. And he just needs one more seat
about being
to do
Native
that.
American
And that's
either.
why he has had his Department of Justice opened bogus criminal investigations into both Governor Lisa Cook and former chair Jerome
I'm watching
Powell.
right here. My eyes
And
are
that is
focused
why
right
he
here.
illegally tried
Opening
to
range low. Can we
fire
get back above
Fed
it?
Governor Cook. His own Supreme Court recently blocked the firing, at least for
All
now.
we need is 6 more
But
likes.
Trump has
We'll
vowed
guarantee
to
that
try
tape out trader
again
account giveaway
to
today.
fire Governor Cook. The fight for control is a fight over interest rates, but it is also about corruption.
NASDAQ's back in the red.
President Trump likes to play king, and the Fed offers many appealing opportunities for the president to enrich himself while he fleeces the American people. Start with crypto. Trump's family crypto company is World Liberty Financial, the centerpiece of the crypto enterprise that let him rake in $1.4 billion.
Hey, Kim, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
2025 alone. Now it is currently applying for a bank charter. After that charter is granted
we get back
by
to eBay, I'm gonna
Trump's
take another
own
swing at it.
bank regulator, World Liberty could seek special privileges from the Federal Reserve to juice its own profits, like a master account that would give Trump's own company direct access to the Fed's core payment rails. And there's more. If he can control the Fed,
Hey, DJ,
Trump
what's up?
could threaten to revoke banks' access to Fed services if they refuse to do his bidding. He could hijack the Fed's extraordinary powers to bail out financial markets, making sure that he rewards his friends and punishes his enemies in a crisis. And you better bet that Trump will turbocharge the Wall Street deregulation that is already underway, juicing mega bank profits and CEO bonuses.
All right, come on, keep on going.
Knowing that
Let's
American
go.
taxpayers will be on the hook once again if there's another devastating financial crash.
Come on.
Congress and the American people will be watching closely whether you serve the public or whether you become yet another instrument of Donald Trump's corruption. Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President.
Thank you, ma'am. Chairman Warsh, thank you for being with us. The floor is yours. 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Warren, other members of the committee, good morning. It's a privilege to join you. It's my first appearance before this panel as chairman, and I'm particularly honored to represent my superb colleagues from across the Federal Reserve System. In submitting the monetary policy report, I can't help but think of a long line of central bank chiefs who came before the Congress in keeping with the Federal Reserve Act, and I can't help but think of the best of the Fed's traditions. As a country, we just marked our 250th year. And when Americans count our blessings, we can include an economy predicated on the brilliance of our constitutional design and system of ordered liberty.
We are below the opening range low.
Equal in all it's done for human flourishing.
Yes, it's still trying to push
Some forms of
up.
communication, including some that the ranking member referenced, are discretionary, but not this one, and for good reason. It's a prudent and wisely conceived obligation designed to keep the Fed responsible, accountable, and faithful to the mandate that you gave us of full employment and price stability. These obligations are of a piece with the Fed's rightful independence in the conduct of monetary policy. Today, we're at a hinge point in history, and it's up to each of us, myself included, to meet this moment.
All right, you got a 9 count, got stopped out again.
The Fed's number one objective
3 losses in a row.
is to get monetary policy right. That's our clear and constant aim.
Still didn't want to
The
rip.
star by which we steer by. And if we get policy right,
hit my target before I can move it.
we will, the inflation surge of the last 5 years will be a thing of the past. Just a month ago, I chaired my very first FOMC meeting. My colleagues and I recognize that high inflation has been an undue burden on American households and businesses. And while monthly fluctuations are inevitable, especially in an unsettled world, underlying inflation over longer-term horizons is determined largely by monetary
slowly get back
policy.
my profits from
As
this
I've
morning
said
from
before
last
and will
night.
say today, inflation is a choice. The members of our
He did
committee
say that
have
yesterday
no
a lot.
tolerance for persistently elevated
So we'll
inflation.
see if he's going to do what it takes to get
And we
inflation
share
down.
a resolute commitment.
What do you guys think?
to
Think Wall
restore
Street will
price
get
stability.
inflation back
That
under
was
control?
our focus when we met a month ago, at which we decided to hold the target range and the federal funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75%.
Look, that white line right there is the
Naturally,
overnight
our work
low.
at the Fed demands a proper reading of economic conditions. As you might have seen in our report, economic
When
activity
you get below
is
that white
expanding
line
at
and
a
start coming
solid
back up,
pace,
I'm going to look to get long.
showing resilience in the face of recent developments.
Yeah, inflation is a choice. You can
Household
choose
consumption,
easy money
growth
policy
is
or
moderate,
inflation.
and manufacturing output has moved up steadily this year. The housing sector, however, strikes a different note.
Here's
It
low
gives a
today.
different picture and continues to lag. I want to highlight the most striking feature of our economy right now, and it's business investment. It is a surge in
coming down now,
capital
too.
expenditures. Compare that to what we've seen for a long, long period of financial engineering. This is a better situation.
Exactly, financial
The rapid
engineering.
rate, the rapid pace of CapEx, which appears to be accelerating, reflects in large part the construction of
We got to break that low. I want to see the low broke and then try to come
including
back
in
up.
and around AI,
Because if we do, we have
and
a
the
double
immense demand
bottom-ish
for
pattern.
AI-related equipment and software.
Bottom one,
Investment in
bottom
equipment overall
two-ish.
increased about 8% for the year in the first quarter. Within that category, high-tech spending logged an especially impressive growth rate of about 25%. We don't yet know the extent to which the economy will benefit from this build-out.
And look, once again,
Yet it seems inevitable, at least to me,
yes, second deviation
that
band
what is now
coming back
called
down.
AI investment will soon just be called investment. Even so, new opportunities for the economy
back down by that second
introduce
deviation
new
band.
challenges for policymakers.
We get another bounce off
We at the
that
Fed
area.
are monitoring the implications for the inflation and for the labor market.
Along SpaceX.
That brings me to the supply side
I
of
want
the
SpaceX
economy.
to come down a little bit more. I want to
Subject
buy it.
worthy of equal attention, where productivity growth has
Look,
been
we did
strong.
sweep it. Look, we
And
swept
I'll
that
note
low a
this
little bit.
Productivity growth predates gains from AI adoption. America's labor force appears to be broadly stable. Job creation has kept pace with the workforce.
Let's see.
The unemployment rate low and has changed
Dog it.
little, quite frankly, over the last year.
Yeah,
We're
yes,
seeing
it's still up.
relatively few layoffs and only slight variance in the rate of job vacancies. Solid growth in nominal wages, too.
I got to get this right
I've
eventually.
been heartened by the welcome I've received and by the encouragement of my colleagues. We have a duty to point the institution forward, to take a fresh look at current practices,
wanna
to
see if
make
we hit
sure
this
we're
double
serving
bottomish
our
pattern.
objectives. And we're
Stop
going
me out
about it
again.
systematically.
You mother.
As the chairman referenced, I appointed a task force in each of 5 areas that are central
Oh boy,
to
task
the
force.
conduct of monetary
Task force coming back
policy.
out.
I'll just reference them and close. First, Fed communications.
779.
Second, our
Oh,
balance
Paul, you
sheet
forgot to give us your numbers this morning.
Third, our use of existing data. Fourth, productivity and jobs. And finally, the Fed's inflation framework. Our purpose here is to make better decisions in the conduct of monetary policy and put these years of high inflation behind us. We
EMU's
are
down
the Federal
5%.
Reserve, Mr. Chairman, and as determined as ever to fulfill our mission. Thank you, and I welcome your questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Each member will have 5 minutes to ask questions.
detect the bubble
and
down
give
here.
answers.
I
And
gotta
I'll
hold off
start
here.
that off, and I'll
gonna end
start
up,
off
give
with your working
going
group.
red. I
So
don't wanna go
I
red.
think credibility equals transparency. And the names that I've seen on your working groups, from Doug McMillan, former CEO of Walmart, to Mark Andreessen on productivity and AI, tells me that you're serious about getting real world experience and expertise involved in making decisions at the Fed. I want to give you just a minute of my time to walk us through perhaps 1 or 2 pieces of that, as we talked about the importance of having contrast on the committee, on the working groups. Really important for my
All right, still making new
perspective.
lows.
I think it lends itself to
they're
having more
smacking it.
confidence in the Federal Reserve. I want to give you a minute.
Let's
to
go back and
talk
look at these
about,
gaps real quick.
one part of it, and then I want to move quickly to AI.
All right, let me be
Little
brief,
double top
Mr.
on the
Chairman,
SPY.
but
Top 1, top
you're
2.
highlighting something that's awfully important. All
Top 1,
institutions,
top 2 on the
including
Dow?
the Federal Reserve, which I am so proud to lead,
so much on
filled with
IWM.
great people. On occasion, we need to bring new ideas to the fore. And after 63 months of inflation above the Fed's target,
RSP's
it
up
struck me
22.4.
that any new leader should arrive
About
at this
evenly with the
organization
S&P.
and look to the very best minds that we could find. There's a lot of great ones at the Fed, but there's a lot of great ones that aren't even in the economics profession. And I reached out to 15 people who I have known and trusted
that.
with a diversity of views to see whether they would take the most important questions that are going to be the determinants of monetary policy and the determinants
my
of the
stop
economy
below
in the
that
next
low.
5 years and see if they could sharpen their pencils and do their best work. It's a move towards transparency and new ideas. I'll just give one example before turning it back to you. in the last couple of days, we've gotten data on consumer price index, today on the producer price index. Any central bank would be happy to have the data going in the right direction. My view is these are all imperfect measures of the state of underlying inflation. So one of the task force is going to see whether we can do better, have better data from external sources, and even better ideas.
They're trying to get me red.
Organizations
Man,
like
I had a good night last
Bureau of
night.
Labor
Good night
Statistics,
pre-market.
the Bureau of Economic Affairs.
Trying to give it all
think
back.
about how they could do a better job in an evolving economy.
Thank you. We met just a few weeks ago with Dr. Phelan, who's slated to be the head of the president's economic advisors, and we talked a lot about artificial intelligence and the impact it will have.
Like we're at
on
the
our
NASDAQ
economy
down by the third band.
Whether or not it will destroy jobs, create jobs, and ultimately, at the end of the day, his conclusion was it'll create more jobs.
Yeah, oil's going down too.
Has an opportunity.
Oil's
to
going
change
down, NASDAQ's
how we
going
do
down.
So many things, and much of the debate for me can be bifurcated into automation. Things go away, and augmentation. People make more money because production goes up, and you've argued that perhaps there's a way for us to see a reduction in interest rates because of that increase in productivity. One of the things standing in the way of that conversation is what's happening in South Carolina, where data centers are meaning real headwinds.
Yeah, gold's down too.
Basically banned them. We have a moratorium in parts of South Carolina because of issues like electricity bills, water use, aesthetics. So getting to the future that we're talking about, and frankly, beating China in this AI race might come down to something as important as electricity bills and water use.
Really need my stop below the low. I just want to put more risk on.
Having a serious conversation about productivity gains. Thoughts?
Yeah, I can't think, Mr. Chairman, of a more consequential change to the U.S. and global economy in my adult lifetime than the surge of investment and the potential in around AI. That's part of the reason why one of my task forces is to focus on what's the effect of this general purpose technology on both parts of the Fed's mandate, on ensuring stable prices, but also on full employment. You gave us both parts of that.
Yep.
We don't have any legislative orphans at the Fed. There's no disfavored part. I would say it is a huge opportunity, but it's not without challenges. I'll make two other brief points. I think the United States is extremely well positioned to be at the cutting edge and extract more productivity, which should be good for U.S. companies and U.S. workers than any other country in the world.
See if we can build on it. We're going to come right back down.
Exchange positions with us in a moment. Second thing is, I do want to make it clear that in the near term, I think this investment is probably quite good for jobs as we're building out the infrastructure. And over the long term, my best guess is that this will improve American productivity.
All right, close it.
Will improve the real wages.
Still down for the New York session right now.
But between the short term and the long
last
term,
night and
it can have a disruptive
live stream
effect.
trading.
And
I think I was up around 15, so I'm down right now.
That's the reason why I wanted to shed some new light on it with some outsiders.
My time is up, but I will submit one question for the record around the issue of index.
I do like that trade detective bubble we had down here. It's got stopped out way too much on that.
We've seen so much growth in the last
way too many stop loss
that our institutions might need to see a little calibration, a recalibration on the thresholds that we have put upon them. Ranking Member Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the Federal Reserve has long been plagued by a culture of corruption and coziness with Wall Street. Over the last 5 years, at least 6 senior Fed officials have been implicated in serious ethics scandals related to personal stock trading.
Hey, but what about Nancy? Hey, what about Nancy Pelosi, though?
Instead of trying to repair this broken
we don't want to
culture,
talk about that.
I'm concerned that you seem to be embracing it. At the time of
ES
your
is on the
nomination,
move up.
you
ES
owned
is
more
at
than $100
76.17.
million worth of shares.
Not nearly as weak as
private
NASDAQ. We'll see if the
investment
NASDAQ can
vehicles
firm back
called
up.
the Juggernaut Funds
Sure
and
hope so.
THSDFS
Yeah,
LLC.
hey, Mr. Fullport, I'm with you.
And you refuse to disclose the underlying assets to the Senate and to the public. You say now that you've sold those shares. In other words, somebody wrote you a check for more than $100 million days before you entered office. Chair Walsh, who wrote that check?
Senator Warren, this is a discussion you and I had in the public square 7 weeks ago, and I'm thrilled to tell you that I have fully honored the obligations I had under the agreement I had with the Office of Government Ethics.
Yeah, I'm
there is
glad you
continued
did,
disclosure,
but I
which I'm happy to make as consistent with the
I asked you a
agreement.
very specific question. Who gave you $100 million right before you were sworn in? Was it a billionaire who has business with the Fed? Was it Stanley Druckenmiller, who's made billions of dollars betting on what the Fed does? Or was it a different billionaire? Who gave you the money?
I will fully comply with the Office of Government Ethics.
That's not an answer.
Well, it is an answer, actually, Senator, because there are
This is not an answer she wants to
It's
hear.
I will
$100
satisfy them
million
completely.
that you got just before you were sworn in, and you won't tell the American people where it came from. Let's go to another incident. As you know, the Fed imposes a blackout period where senior Fed officials are prohibited from talking about economic issues with outsiders. The idea is to, quote, reinforce the public's confidence in the transparency and integrity of the monetary policy process. In other words, no one gets some special insider information from the Fed. But shortly after your first FOMC meeting as chair, right in the middle of the blackout period, the Fed's vice chair for supervision, Michelle Bowman, was reportedly the featured guest at a secret dinner hosted by Bank of America for its hedge fund and Wall Street clients. At this closed-door dinner, she reportedly spoke about both monetary policy topics and regulatory policy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I've called on the Inspector General to review her conduct, but you're the guy in charge. As chair, you set the tone on culture. Did Vice Chair Bowman provide any non-public information to the attendees at that secret dinner or discuss any regulatory policy matters that are subject to open comment periods?
Yeah, Scott, I know. Hey, that's how she knows about scams.
I agree with one of the premises of your question, which is I do set the culture.
Good.
After my very first week at the Fed, I sent a letter to the 21,000 people at the Fed outlining our culture.
I appreciate that, but we have very limited time and a very strict chairman. So can you just answer the question about the vice chair and her secret meeting?
Sure, I'm happy to the extent I can share it with you.
It's secret. I can't share it.
The vice chair has been an excellent colleague in my first 7 weeks. I'm aware of the letter you sent to the Inspector General.
I can't divulge secrets.
Out of an enormous respect for him, his investigation, what he chooses to do with it, I'm going to leave to him to do without trying to micromanage that.
I think you meant culture at the Fed.
So
I'd be interested in the judgments that he comes to.
So you will support his investigation. Have you made your own investigation? Did you ask her if she spoke at a secret meeting during the blackout period?
I agree with the suggestion that the Inspector General is an independent actor, and I'd be very interested in his decision.
You just said you're the guy in charge. Did you ask her about the secret meeting that took place?
Did you take a DNA test before you claimed to be
I can answer
Native
a simple
American
question, which is I wasn't at the meeting. I don't know the facts.
But
sorry, I signed an NDA. I can't do it.
I
signed an NDA. I can't answer that question.
Fair enough to ask. How can you be chair and not ask your own vice chair whether or not she violated the blackout period, violated the law?
I think it'd be inappropriate for me to prejudge facts.
I wouldn't do good up there.
I'd
be irritated.
Judge them if you don't.
I'd be irritated.
Ask.
Well, I don't know how to prejudge them if I wasn't in the attendance of a meeting.
Did you ask?
She's been an excellent colleague.
Did you ask?
I've asked her a lot of things about supervision and regulation because we've been busy doing a lot of real work over the last 7 weeks.
I gotta say, I'm gonna take the same time you did. I just gotta say.
You hope so.
The tone that you are setting is one that seems to invite corruption, and that's going to be a real problem.
We've had 7 weeks, Senator Warren, and we've set a tone of performance, accountability, responsibility, and integrity.
Senator Rounds has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, man, you're just up there getting grilled on live TV. I mean, that'd be
Walsh,
horrible.
Welcome to your first meeting.
Thank you,
Golly.
Let me give you an opportunity.
Hey, welcome to your first meeting.
I've got some questions that I think are important with regard to the Basel III.
still is down for the day.
With it, but before we get into that, I
still weak.
think you've been
Yes is up.
basically
Dow's up
harassed a little
252.
bit in terms of
Russell's
making
up
accusations
21.
to you. Let me
Russell's
give
the
you
strongest.
Just a minute.
Percentage-wise, up
perhaps
0.71%.
Respond in a just straightforward.
I do like how he answers it back. He's like, well, I'll have to refer to whatever.
No, Senator, no one did any such thing.
Possible that you may have had assets that were sold based upon an agreement that you had.
I'm like, this is bullshit.
As you became the nominee for the chairmanship.
Yes,
what about you?
Assets over a long period of time.
Did you not
and
scam
went over and above any ethics agreements?
By saying that you were Native American,
sold or in the process of selling.
Fix the DNA test. You have
sold everything that had earned during that period, and have rolled those into the equivalent of cash and T-bills.
So, basically, away from investments
let's look at
based
stocks real quick.
upon the market.
Oh yeah, hey, Sox actually did a split. I think it said Sox, but
to Treasury.
Up at 46.
Yes, exactly right.
Wow.
I thought that was
estimation
the
gets
prudent
smoked.
thing to do, given the responsibilities
Estimation down 2.15%.
and the importance of setting the tone at the top.
Stocks down
Culture is
1.4.
the big driver of a lot of things, and in my first 7
VIX
weeks,
is still down though.
Senator,
Look, VIX is down.
we're doing our very best in the best of the Fed's traditions to get the culture right, to get the strategy right, and to get policy right. And if we can do those things, all of which are to the left of the decimal point, might not be of such great interest to people that are trading on Wall Street. And I think the decisions we make to the right of the decimal point can be better, so we can do a better job.
Let's go look at dollar index. How's the
fulfilling
dollar
mandate
index
you
liking
gave
the
us?
way Walsh is speaking?
The
Dollar
ranking
index is
member
down. What about
had asked
yields?
a question with regard to another
Look at
member on
yields.
the committee.
Yields are down.
Nikki Bowman, and you indicated that if there was an
I
accusation,
feel like Walsh should be more
made
apt
as
to
an
raise rates.
appropriate meeting.
I'm listening to him
that
speak the
if
last couple days.
Inspector General was doing
And during
that,
the
that
FOMC.
you were going to be hands off.
We're coming down, getting ready to break the lows again.
Seems to me that that's pretty appropriate. Because if you would have gotten involved in it, the accusation from some members on this committee would have been that you were trying
Hey, we
to
did the
influence
P
it.
point too.
Can
Let's see
you
the
talk
ES.
a little bit about the logic? Am I on the right track with regard to the reasoning that you have for allowing the Inspector General to do the job that they were asked to do in the first place by members on this committee?
Yes, Senator, you're exactly on the right track. I'll just say more broadly that my fellow governors, my Reserve Bank presidents,
Hey,
they've
so
received
NASDAQ
me
now down
incredibly
170.
warmly.
Let's go look
I
real quick.
admit that I show up with a lot of ideas for reform in monetary policy and supervision and regulation and payments. I've only been there a short while for 7
Tesla
weeks.
and Nvidia are down.
But
Look at
instead
MU.
of an
MU
institution
down almost
acting
7%,
inert,
AMD
what
down
I found is my
4%,
colleagues are really
Intel down
open-minded to
5%.
change. What I found is we're
SanDisk,
going to have a good
yikes.
family fight. I'm not
guys didn't
imposing
tell me about SanDisk
ideas.
getting
That's
croaked.
part of the idea of the task forces the chairman referenced.
Wow.
But we're going to try to be better at our jobs, fulfill our
looking
mission,
bad.
be
All bad.
accountable, be responsible, and do it all with the utmost integrity. That's my intention.
Rally as soon-
We're
yeah, right when I
early
go to
into
lunch, you
this.
gotta-
I don't want
you
to
gotta quit
prejudge
talking, we're gonna-
outcomes. We made a lot of progress in a short period of time, and frankly, I'm proud of it.
So BB is going to fly to
you're
U.S.
putting
on
together
Sunday to meet
working
with Trump
groups. I think
on
that
Monday.
We'll give an
New lows on the
opportunity for a
NASDAQ.
fresh look at a lot of things going on. As I shared with you in a phone call earlier, it's not a matter of being necessarily vindictive or angry with previous chairs or previous members. It's a matter of making things better for the American people, and that's really what we ought to be talking about today. So let me just, in the minute and 14 seconds that I've got left
I'm gonna
on
smack
mine,
this again.
let me talk a little bit about Basel III in particular. I think you and Vice Chairman Bowman and the respective financial regulators, I think you've done a good job in terms of your roles with regard to Basel III
Dang it.
reproposal.
I was hoping this was going to go down a little bit
issued this
more. I was
March.
wanting to get long.
The 2023 proposal would have substantially increased common equity capital requirements for Category 1 and Category 2 banks by approximately 19%, failing to strike a balance between maintaining the resiliency of our banking system and doing so
So we're
without
almost at the
hampering
third
lending.
deviation band.
I think this is a really
Right now.
critical item. And
We have
next to what artificial intelligence is going to do
543
in terms
actually.
of our productivity, I think it's one of the biggest issues out there.
We're getting close.
With the June 18th comment deadline now behind us, are there any other categories of feedback that you're weighing more heavily than others, such as the adjustments to leverage ratios or anything along that line? And if I could, is there going to be a go-live date this year sometime? Any idea when you might actually be able to talk about when this thing is going to go public for us?
Senator, well, thank you for your question on supervision regulation. As I mentioned before, I've shown up with a lot of ideas for reform, not just in
They want
monetary
260?
policy,
Oh, boy.
but in supervision and regulation too. When I was before this committee some 20 years ago, there was a debate about what the Basel process should be. boy, we should get to the bottom of that 20 years later, and we should end up with a set of reforms in the United States that makes our financial system and our banks
try at least get back
safer,
to where it was when I started
sounder,
the stream this
and
morning.
more competitive. It is that competition which provides better and more agile credit to the real economy.
Right,
the Basel Endgame, Senator, is not America's endgame. I am happy to work with international regulators to try to find common views, but we're going to do the right thing for the U.S. economy. As you mentioned, we're out for public comment. I'll be very interested in the comments before we go final with the proposed final rule.
Let me just say, this is already off to a good start. But we're going to stay around 5 minutes, period. Thank y'all. Senator Reid, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Walsh, I want to see if I put a cap.
I like the wicks down there on the 1 minute chart.
Senator Warren and Senator Rounds. When will you disclose who brought your assets?
Oh, you're saying 413 next stop?
When?
Yikes.
I believe there's periodic requirements under the ethics laws, and I'll fully comply with them. I think the next reporting requirement is at some point next quarter or so.
And you will fully disclose who you sold your assets to?
I'll fully comply with the law and the ethics agreement.
Thank you. AI is making a huge impact on everything we do, particularly the banking system. And as you're aware, an interagency governmental group, Commerce, Treasury, Energy, et cetera, has authorized the major banks, the 8 major banks, to use Mythos to
sick of getting stopped out. I really want to take my stop and move it down.
Would you agree that it's important
so bad
for all financial institutions to have access to these types of AI tools so that they could analyze their operations for cyber vulnerabilities?
Yes, I think the broad financial system has new vulnerabilities with these new technologies. I wouldn't want to just isolate Mythos, though. The other large language models have rival products. The efficient frontier has changed even in the last month. But as these new models find their way more broadly, our banking system and, frankly, the Federal Reserve needs to do all we can to patch any vulnerabilities that we have.
God, dog it.
What are you doing?
I want to go green to red today. I really don't.
That these mid-size and smaller banking institutions have access to whatever AI tool is appropriate as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so I share the sentiment, Senator Reid. We are not the deciders as to who has access, but I have not
double top. We did not validate that ABC pattern up yet
with authorities across the government about the vulnerabilities and have been asking for access, not just for the Federal Reserve, but for other institutions. To a whole
never
range
broke that
of
swing
these
point
new,
up there, so NASDAQ never
validated
the possible ABC pattern either.
So that they can protect themselves. If you said to me what worries you over the course of the next several months, I want to make sure that we're as protected as we can be from foreign actors that want to do us harm.
Well, let me stay with AI, but change the focus a moment. Recently, Governor Waller and New York Fed President John Williams have warned that AI investments may be increasing inflation, and many economists have similar warnings. So are AI investments current drivers of inflation?
This is one of the good family fights. Let me give my own view on it, which might be somewhat nuanced from the way you just described it and some of my colleagues. The shock of AI, the supply shock of AI, has an effect on demand and supply. We see the effect on demand much more quickly. We see it in the capital investment I referenced. We see it in the prices of chips that are going up. We're inferring, which is just a fancy word for guessing, when the effects will happen on the supply side of the economy. I don't view a one-time change in prices as necessarily being inflationary, because I think there's a supply response. In that way, this is different from a foreign conflict and what it might do, which tends to reduce the supply side of the economy. Will it increase measured prices over the course of the next 12 months? I suspect it will be. But whether that's inflationary or not, that's up to the Federal Reserve, and we're going to have something to say about that.
Okay. Now, one of the interesting things about our economy is becoming more and more productive. But one of the disappointing things is that household pay is not rising relative to that productivity. And we're seeing less benefit from productivity gains. So what's driving this trend?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't have a perfect answer
ES
to
down
it.
did not sweep
Like you,
the overnight low
we
like we
think a
saw
lot
at NASDAQ.
about
I'm kinda
real
curious, though.
take-home pay. The part that the Fed can do a lot about is the real part. If inflation were lower, real take-home pay would be higher. That's
MU
just
now
the
down
arithmetic.
7%.
Your other question's a broader one, which
We're
is
getting ready to
when
get
are we
a
going to
bounce?
see the productivity improvements lead to a surge in wages?
Got an eye count down here. I
Wages
really
have
wanna-
moved up at a reasonable pace.
really like to smack this all the
but
way back up
it's
to-
likely that as
I don't know if we're gonna
productivity
make it,
moves up
though.
more, we should see wages move more. Getting that timing right, understanding when that happens.
Train's not
that's a
treating me good
puzzle,
today. It
and it's a
was
puzzle we're gonna
started off
continue to
good,
work
but
on.
now I'm like,
In the last 10 seconds, will AI eliminate jobs at a catastrophic rate?
so I'm barely up for the day.
You're
One more
asking me
losing
to
trade. I'll be
prejudge the task
maybe 2 more
force.
losing
My
trades. I'll be down.
short answer is over the long term, absolutely not. I believe that this is a long-term job creator, but will it be disruptive? And will some people have their jobs at jeopardy because of the new technologies? On that, I can't offer any sort of guarantee or comfort.
Senator Britt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair, thank you so much for
That's all
being
good.
here with us today. Certainly appreciate
Day's
the
not over
opportunity
with
to
yet.
have a
Plenty of time
conversation,
left.
and obviously so early in your tenure in this new role. In this year's monetary policy report, one of the most encouraging themes is the increased in business investment that
I don't
we're
know if I'll
seeing
stream
across
tonight
the
or not.
country. In Alabama and
Not
many
sure.
places, we're seeing companies expand,
Depends.
manufacturers grow, and communities are benefiting from that investment. I believe that these are good signs and that they're also important for the future
quick
because
little
they help us
scalp there.
determine whether
Wanted to move my
America
target to give me a
remains
shot,
the
too.
most competitive economy in the world. My question for you
I'll
is,
be
as
trading
you
tonight
look
regardless.
at
Like-
the economy, what data tells you that today's investments are laying the groundwork and the foundation for a stronger long-term growth and greater American competitiveness?
Come on, push it.
So it's a great question, and thanks for highlighting the capital investment boom. This is what most countries are searching for. This is the seed corn for the next group of job creation and productivity. To be honest, over the last dozen or so years, we have been waiting for the surge in business investment. I know in some academic accounting sense, this is leading to a surge in prices in the next 12 months. I don't want to sound dismissive of it. The surge in prices is real. But I'd sure rather
Come on, let's get
the most successful companies in the world investing in property, plant, and equipment than doing a share buyback. So I'm encouraged by it. The trend
take it
is
while I
our
have it.
friend here.
I want to come
This
back to you and
business
stop me
capital
out.
investment is contributing massively
good
to
with
the
that.
GDP we've seen in the last 12 months. My colleagues know I'm not big for forward guidance, but I would guess that trend continues. What gives me optimism about it? Well, when the private sector deploys this amount of capital, they must see something shiny at the other end of that rainbow. They must see a
I think we're going to try to
very
work our way
good
back to the
return
opening
on
range low.
investment. That's why they're
I know it
taking
sounds crazy
this
as far
capital
away as
and
we
they're
are now.
putting it to
That's
work. I tend to
all the
think
way
that
up here
private
about
investment has a
744.
multiplier way higher than one. I'll let you and others judge whether that's true of government spending too.
I'm going to go ahead and switch gears because I know we're on a tight time frame today, which I appreciate. And I'm going to follow up on a question that the chairman asked. I'd like to get you to kind of dig into this. Some banks are already approaching and crossing into new tailoring categories, and they're making staffing and compliance and long-term business decisions based on thresholds that haven't been updated since 2019. At the same time, the Federal
trying to move
Reserve
a target.
continues to rely on those categories and other regulatory frameworks. So my question is, how are you thinking about updating these tailoring frameworks when it comes to what banks can expect to see and proposals in the future?
So it's a great question, one I take seriously. To be candid with you and the chairman, the other members of the committee, monetary policy has distracted
Well,
me
keep
a
trying
bit
to
in the
scalp
first
it.
7 weeks. But the Federal Reserve chairman is supposed to be the chairman of monetary
Let's go,
policy
let's go.
and payments and consumer affairs and supervision
MACD
and regulation.
looking.
But I can tell you this, Vice Chairman Bowman has been working on these initiatives. She has briefed me about them. And broadly, I'll step back and say modernizing our banking system, streamlining regulations so that the rules
look
that
at this, too,
apply
on the ES.
to the systemically important
Right down to the
financial
second
institutions
deviation
are
band,
not
trying to
one
balance.
size fits all for every other. The secret to the American economy is we have a few thousand
NASDAQ, second
banks and
deviation
other
band, trying to
providers of
bounce.
credit. who know their smaller markets bigger. I'd rather have that system than what most of our G20 peers have.
Oh, hey, DayTrading, good
half
job.
a dozen institutions implicitly backed by
I
their
did
government.
good in the prop accounts today.
I think reform is coming to supervision and regulation. I have my own ideas that might be as dramatic as I've already shared on monetary policy here.
Come on, let's
and
go,
I think
let's
the
go,
sooner
let's
we can get
go,
to the
let's
bottom
go,
of
let's
it, the
go,
better.
let's go.
If I could say one more thing, the reforms we've been putting in place over the last 15 years coming out of Dodd-Frank, as we learned in the Silicon
NASDAQ
Valley
still has
Bank
not filled the
example,
gap. So
First
ES
Republic
did.
example,
NASDAQ
they
has
didn't work
not.
perfectly. My
I'm talking about the gap from
predecessors
Sunday
had
night.
very little choice, but then to
So,
do another overall bailout.
Really thought we were going to get it
We don't want
earlier
that
this
to
morning.
happen
I
again.
didn't
So we
anticipate
want
this
to
big of
tailor the
a
rules
push back
and the
down.
capital so they serve
So
the
I was a
best
little bit
interests
too
of the U.S.
bullish
economy,
on the market this
which I
morning.
describe as a system that is safe, sound, and competitive.
That's
And
unfortunate.
I just hope, given what you've said, we double down on reviewing the framework. We know how important tailoring is, and also just the need for regulatory certainty. So thank you for that. In my last remaining seconds, I just want to say thank you for your commitment in the first 7 weeks, almost 2 months. You said it earlier, but to performance, to accountability, to responsibility, and to integrity. Appreciate what you're doing and look forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Warner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Warsh, it's good to see you again. 7 weeks in, you got a hell of a job. Inflation's still too high. How you predict the president's chaotic foreign policy, wars in the Middle East. I'm going to come to an AI question, but let me be clear. As I said to you yesterday, I didn't vote for you, but we're going to find a lot of common ground to work together. I am going to hold you, and I've been appreciative of your comments about inflation, about the
I did not
Fed's
vote for you,
independence.
but
I think there are many, many common areas we can work together on, and look forward to that. I want to hit, when one of the things that most impressed me in our first meeting was your recognition that probably the biggest issue you're going to face is AI. My 2 cents is I think it is going to have long-term, I agree with you, it's going to be job creation. Very short-term, I think you may see some upsurge in terms of energy production and data center build-out. Years 2 through 5, 2 through 6, I think there could be massive economic disruption.
Hey, it got me too, Apple. I was up a lot
college
more.
grads. It's a policymaker's job, but if this is going to have the potential effect, I hope I'm wrong, but I'd take a bet with you that 3 years
I kept thinking, like, even right here, we're going to go up, hit the midpoint, and go all the way back up to the opening range. But
what do you see as the Fed's role is in terms of urging your actions, but also helping us sort that out?
Blew at one
First of
lucid
all,
PA.
I appreciate it.
Activated pass. Never from blowing up
Don't say
accounts.
nice things about me. He's got me on a clock. Answer my question.
All right, good. Well, let me just say,
I do indeed.
Let me just say this. I appreciate that you haven't given up me.
Yeah, crude
given
oil's
up
down
on me. I haven't
56
given
cents.
up on
That's
you.
good.
I haven't given up on your colleagues.
If we look at the volatility
independent
index,
head of a central bank, no matter how people
Look,
voted,
even with
I'm gonna
the
be
push
serving
down we've
all
had in
of
the
you.
This
NASDAQ
doesn't count
today,
against my time.
the VIX is down 33
AI.
cents.
Let me get to the core of your question. I am more confident that there will be a surge in output because the U.S. is at the cutting edge of AI than any certainty about the effect on the labor market in the
Can we
next
get a
few
little
years.
ABC pattern up here?
The United States will be a winner. That is my informed judgment. But this is a time filled with both challenges and risks.
really the best entry
we
price,
take both
but-
parts of our dual mandate seriously. Do I believe that the productivity improvements over time will be structurally disinflationary? I do. I believe everything technology touches ultimately gets cheaper. Your background, I think, would be consistent with that. What are going to be the effect on the labor markets in years 2 through 5? It's a fair question. The way I would frame it to you on college graduates, if you're a new college graduate,
VIX
AI is probably native to you.
No, hey, Paul,
You've been
VIX is actually
playing
down just a little bit.
AI effectively since your high school years. I feel as though you likely have the skills and the intuitions the same way that people of my generation or younger were native to the internet. If you've already been in the workforce for a while and you're a little resistant to change, that's where the encouragement needs to be to think about how these skills can make you more productive. These are fair questions. I don't have
two-faced
easy answers, but I do have a
Well,
task force that's going to be thinking about
we
it.
have to work together on, because if we hit this bump, and I think it's going to come, we got to collaborate. Now, Senator Reid asked a very good question about Mythos, and I 100% agree. Mythos is already yesterday's news,
Right.
Because these models are coming out so quickly and they pose such security risks. I think it's incumbent, because of the risk it provides to our financial system, that at some point
NASDAQ
you're going to be, and I'm asking you now, I think, personally, I believe we need some level of mandatory testing pre-release because of the potentially draconian and dramatic effects. Now, how long, who's on that panel is critical.
Bias is bearish.
But what do you think about pre-testing release regime going forward, more than just the voluntary willingness of a company to come forward?
Yeah, so two things. First, these models are in their capabilities are growing at an exponential rate. In technology, we would say hyper Moore's law. It wasn't long ago people sitting in my position thought that the US was a time of secular stagnation. All the good stuff had been invented. Boy, that seems awfully anachronistic. We're moving fast. So what can we do? I don't have, as it currently structured, decision rights as to who has access. But I do have a bully pulpit, as you mentioned.
I'm going green to red today.
I'm unafraid to share my views with the Treasury Secretary and others. The cutting edge is moving very quickly. Key institutions are vulnerable. The sooner they can mitigate their vulnerabilities, the better. I'm looking forward to
officially green to red.
You'll be willing to advocate moving on beyond a voluntary regime because the downside risk. 12 seconds. Quickly address the role of all of the Federal Reserve banks and your vision of what the role they should play.
So very quickly, I'll just say this. We should be good stewards of taxpayer money. We should be consolidating functions where we can. But my mental model, Senator, as I mentioned to you yesterday, is we should have 12 centers of excellence. I've got more than 12 problems on my plate. And if each reserve bank were to develop an expertise on something that matters to our remit and the American economy, I'd encourage them to develop that advantage.
Senator Ricketts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Warsh, great to see you.
Get up here.
Thank you for being here.
Hey, see you later, Chris.
On your first semi-annual reports. Good to see you here again. We got some good news this week. Inflation was down, and that's progress under this administration and under your new leadership at the Fed.
Come on, let's get it.
During the Biden administration, we saw reckless spending that drove prices up.
I went green to red.
Nebraska families.
I'll see if I can go red to green.
Bill. 2019,
still think we want to pop back up. I do.
Was roughly $900 billion.
Look, we have a little ABC pattern right here forming.
$1.9 trillion. And we saw inflation go up 20%, really stressing Nebraska families at the grocery
target 685
store. Cleaning out this mess is going to take discipline and it's going to take reform.
Can we get up there?
We discussed in our meeting also how to implement some reforms, such as process improvement.
We got the 685.
Six Sigma.
685 is the ABC target.
You promised to have a reform-oriented Federal Reserve, and we're willing to break up or make a break from some of the mistakes of the past. I commend you for that. I want to work with you to see it through.
I got to close it because that at least puts me back in the green.
To start is with the Fed's balance sheet, an issue I've consistently raised with other Fed governors. The Fed expanded its balance sheet dramatically during the pandemic, peaking at nearly $9 trillion.
Yeah, hey, Paul, I just took it. I gotta get some money coming back in.
Down to about $6.5 trillion.
That way I'm not in the red. I'm not seeing red.
And I'm glad to see that the Fed was making progress over the last few years, but the balance sheet is still not down to pre-COVID levels.
We still haven't broken the B point yet. Either we got to break the B point for that pattern to be valid.
$7 trillion today. Chairman Morris, do you see the balance sheet increasing again as a trend in the right direction or the wrong direction?
Senator, thank you for the question. I've been focused on the Fed's balance sheet, frankly, since my last day at the Fed some 15 years ago into the present. I don't want to prejudge the conclusions of this balance sheet task force, where, as the chairman said, I put together a team of rivals to fiddle with it, to evaluate it, to come up with their own judgments. But I'll give you my predilections. Monetary policy is made currently through at least two material instruments, interest rates and the balance sheet. In fact, we grew the balance sheet, created quantitative easing when I served the last time in the darkest days of the crisis because we had already cut rates to zero.
Task force.
So expanding the balance sheet had the intent of helping markets clear, but it was also another tool of monetary policy. I still believe that is true.
Wasn't that supposed to be temporary?
Indeed, that was our entry principle, was that we would get out of that business. The central bank has not, for a whole range of reasons, gotten out of that business. My general view is, as we think about inflation risks and we think about the conduct of monetary policy writ large, we have two instruments that we should be thinking about. The balance sheet is one of them. I'll make only one other point.
All right, closed it.
monetary policy needs to be architected, needs to be designed by the policymakers around the FOMC.
15 years, I still can't tell you
The
nothing.
operations, how we do that is conducted by the New York Fed. I want the architecture to drive the plumbing, not the plumbing to drive the architecture. We're going to make a monetary policy decision with respect to the balance sheet. I'm very open-minded to changes, and any changes we make will be well discussed, well shared, and I think quite deliberate. And the financial markets, who have seen the balance sheet grow effectively for a generation, they'll have plenty of time to adjust if we make changes.
I know you said you just wanted to make that one comment, but I'm going to push you to ask for a little more. What do you believe is the smallest balance sheet that the Fed could operate with?
My predilection, my inclination is interest rate policy should be the driver of monetary policy. The balance sheet should be as small as practicable to conduct operations. And the balance sheet can expand when there's a crisis. The balance sheet can also expand if an institution needs liquidity. That's part of the reason why we've created a discount window. But a permanently large balance sheet with a duration of assets that are larger than the duration of assets of treasuries, for example, that are held in the broader public markets, boy, that sure seems a little bit more like fiscal policy that I'm comfortable with. So I would like us to have a leaner, meaner balance sheet, but it's a discussion for my colleagues, and I've got 3 real pros that are going to help us think it through.
They're probably a task force.
I have run out of time, and I'm sure the chair will be happy that I'm going to maybe get done before it reaches 0.
Thank you.
But I do have a question I'll follow up with for the record on scams, because this is something that the banking industry is telling me they're increasingly seeing, and it's costing people who deposits a lot of money. So I'll follow up with that.
Senator, we're opposed to scams, but I'm happy to follow up.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
I think the news is probably to about 12.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Till lunchtime.
Mr. Chairman, we agree on that point. Let me turn to the headline.
Oh, we did get the 200
inflation
likes, too.
numbers that
That's
came out,
fantastic.
yesterday at 3.5%, above the Fed's 2% target.
Hey, Saj, you're back.
Prices are
you
too
didn't miss the
high
race
for
yet.
families, and we need to get them down. I think we can agree on that. At your press conference a few weeks ago, you said that higher inflation, in part, and I quote, reflects supply shocks that have driven price increases in certain sectors, including energy, unquote. In other words, a reason that we're seeing prices go up is that the supply of products and services has dropped in some areas of the economy, right?
Yes.
And I do think it's important that the public understand the causes of some of these supply shocks. You would agree, would you not, Mr. Chairman, that the war in Iran has caused a supply shock in the energy markets?
So I'm down for the New York session.
Conflicts have caused the
Last
price of
night,
oil to be higher than
when
it
the trades
otherwise
taken
would.
off stream, I was at
Absolutely
1,500.
right. And Americans are paying
giving back half
the
of those
burden
profits.
of that as we go.
Hey,
We've
Raphael, I'm
also
actually
seen
going to take
supply
my
shocks in other areas. Last year,
my e-foil board out
your
and go riding
colleague
today.
Austin Goolsbee, president of the Chicago Fed,
I don't know if I'm
said
gonna do that
that,
lunchtime
and I quote,
or-
a tariff is like a negative
I was hoping to do it
supply
after-
shock, unquote. And
after
we've
the
seen
stream this
plenty of
morning, but I'm not
tariffs.
happy where the
Obviously, we
P&L
have a
is
Supreme
now.
Court decision that may
So I
bring
might
those
have to wait
down
till
over
after the
time,
market closes
the
to
impact
do
of
it.
it. But the negative supply
until I get the
shocks
money back.
have been real and can be traced to the Trump administration.
So I'm not just going to
agenda.
quit trading today once I'm
So
off stream
when you
unless I'm at
say
session
that
highs.
supply shocks are part of the reason prices are going up, you would acknowledge that they're the result of decisions that have been made by the president, like going to war with Iran, right?
So what I'd say is particular price shocks happen to
don't
particular
know. I don't think
prices
it's the
that we
politicians
don't have
taking the market
control
down.
over, but I don't want to suggest we don't have control
Because
over
if we
inflation in the
actually
medium
look-
term. That's our job. But screwworm
We have
affects
the Dow
beef
up,
prices. Other
S&P's
things that
up,
affect oil,
Russell's
and oil
up.
prices.
The
and
one
those
I keep trying to
prices.
go long is
And
down.
I understand that has
And
an
again, I'm
effect
stuck
on
in my head
people's
because we did not fill the
household
gap
budgets.
Indeed,
So,
it does. And I think we've seen the price of
Bad
energy
case
go
of the
up
bias going on.
by billions and billions of dollars. And the American people are essentially paying for that at the pump and other places in their pocketbooks. As you know, your predecessor as chairman was regularly
troops,
harassed
man, good
and
job.
berated by the President of the United States on social media with respect to interest rates. At least so far, you seem to have escaped that fate. But I do think it's important that we have an understanding of whether or not the president is trying to influence Fed conduct. I know you were asked recently at your last press conference
Hey, King, good morning.
about any communications with the president. I think
Well,
your
this morning, it
response
hasn't
was,
been
on
good
the
to me yet.
president, I don't have anything for you. Mr. Chairman, was that a yes or a no with respect to whether you've had communications with President Trump?
So I like what I said the first time. Senator, I don't have anything for you. I will say this, though. I do meet with the Treasury Secretary weekly. I talk to him often between that.
Yeah, plenty of movement.
And I'll make my own decisions as monetary policy.
I just want to understand the answer. Have you or have you not had communications with President Trump since you took this position?
I just don't want to be in the business of sharing discussions that the president and I have.
Okay.
I will tell you what I've said to the president repeatedly and said to the Treasury Secretary. They chose an independent guy to do an independent job, and that's exactly what I plan on doing.
Okay.
And I'd like to think over the last 7 weeks, given the decisions we've made and the things we've done, that it's not just words, it's actions now to start to demonstrate that.
So, Mr. Chairman, I mean, I think it's important. I take from your answer you've had communications. You don't want to disclose the content. Will you commit to do what your predecessor
Jay Powell
did,
had
which
communications
was to
with Trump,
release
too.
your appointment schedule and conversations with President Trump?
I don't know what the past practice was. I will be in full compliance with the law. As I understand it, there's an ongoing FOIA request on my calendar, and I will share it consistent with the law.
Well,
I believe the first one's already come out.
I think this was this wasn't in response to any legal requirement forced by FOIA. It was a question of transparency, and I do think, given the president's past record of trying to influence Fed behavior via social media with respect to your predecessor, if he's trying to influence Fed behavior through private conversations with you, I think that needs to be something the public is aware of. And I'm asking you whether you will commit to disclosing when you have conversations with the President of the United States.
Senator, I can offer you this assurance. The president has not, before I took this office, before I raised my right hand, he has not tried to influence the conduct of monetary policy. And if he tried to, I would continue to keep my head down and do the job. I don't have a long record, but I've got a 7-week record. And before that, I had a 25-year record. And I think that should count for something.
There we go.
I appreciate that. I hope you'll just follow the precedent your predecessor.
Senator Kennedy, the floor is yours.
Need a positive Iran tweet? Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, we don't need that tweet until I'm long.
Well,
Don't come out before I'm long.
He's my buddy, so I don't. This is not meant toward him, but I always get a kick out of my Democratic friends talking about transparency. Toward the end, God bless him, you could bake a Thanksgiving turkey in the time that it took President Biden to walk across the stage, and they kept it quiet.
I'm trying to pop it up here.
I'm sorry he was in that condition, but this transparency stuff cuts both ways. What's wrong with you talking to the President of the United States?
So, Senator, I've got a wide lens. I'm interested in hearing points of view from a whole range of people. We have a narrow remit. I'm interested in what's happening in the world, in the Middle East,
but I mean,
and
is
elsewhere.
there anything wrong with it? Do you have to, when you do it, do you have to like go out and look for the last phone booth in Washington and put a bag over your head and sneak in there and call him or return his call? Is there anything wrong with that?
I certainly don't feel uncomfortable receiving a call from the chairman of this committee or the President of the United States.
Okay. You think Ben Bernanke ever talked to the president?
When I was a governor, I recall several conversations and
How
frequent
about Alan
meetings.
Greenspan?
When I was a young staffer in the White House, I remember being honored by him coming into the White House and meeting with the president and the president's advisors quite frequently.
Okay.
Yeah, going up. Now we're getting the.
What I would give me concern, and I think it's the basis for my colleagues' concern.
Let's get it.
Is that
Let's get it.
You just do whatever the president says, but you're not going to do that, are you, or are you?
Senator, I'm going to call it the best I see it. The president never asked me to do anything inappropriate, and if he did, I wouldn't do it. I'm going to follow the law and do my best to follow the remit you gave us.
Okay, so in the last year or so, recent past, I'll say, the Fed cut rates 3 times because they were worried
you got a
about
nice
the
little
labor
trade on
market.
the ES
Is that a
plan for
fair
the VWAPs
assessment?
right here.
That's my sense of what they did
And
before
it
me.
worked.
See if I can get a little bit more.
Worked, correct?
Well, that's a longer discussion. They did
Well, is
cut
the
rates.
labor market in a mess today?
I'm out.
The labor market's
I'm out.
in
That
good
puts me
shape. But I
Yeah,
wouldn't
back
call
up
it
for the day.
causal connection.
So I don't have much
Oh,
time,
boy.
Mr.
All right,
Chairman.
puts me
I love
back
you
up
like
for the
a
day.
taco, but I'm going to Yeah, you don't filibuster on me. So it worked, okay? Now we have inflation, okay?
Now we have inflation.
What caused it in 20 seconds?
In 20 seconds, inflation is caused when a one-time change in price is broadened out.
I know what inflation is,
And the
Mr.
Federal
Chairman.
Reserve.
Tell me what caused it.
Monetary policy, sir.
Okay, well, I would say what caused it.
Hey, so do you guys agree that monetary policy caused inflation? Let me know in the chat.
The conflict.
Do you guys agree with that? Monetary policy caused inflation.
And probably the residual effect of the fact that some imports have become more expensive. Okay? And I think any fair-minded person would conclude that. There was a lot of economists said, the impact of inflation.
I added a little bit to the
cost of imports would be a one-shot deal.
I added a little bit to Take Profit Trader accounts. I wish I would have traded it in all of them. I did not. So now the updated total.
Is it temporary?
$5,700 in Take Profit Trader accounts.
The inflation.
It's not going to be permanent under my watch, Senator.
Okay, what are you going to do about it?
So we're going to do three
it.
things. One is
we can do about it.
For those people in markets that think the Fed really was comfortable with a higher level of inflation, we're doing our best to disabuse them.
Okay, you're going to talk about it. What's the second thing you're going to do?
We're going to take ownership of it. We're going to say we have the power to do something.
Okay, you're going to own it.
That's
What's the third thing you're going to do?
We're going to look at our tools in
We're going to see what
the
the task
changing
force has to
economy,
say about it.
both balance sheet and interest rate, and see whether we need to adjust policy to take it head off.
I'm not back at session highs yet.
That's the
But at
third
least I'm up from where I was last night or this morning.
I'm not asking you what action the Fed's going to take. That would be improper, Mr. Chairman. I wouldn't do that, and you wouldn't tell me anyway. Get specifically, like you're talking to a 10th grader, okay? Not. What are your options? Leave it alone, right? Leave rates alone.
Hey, what state is he from, Paul?
This is one option.
What state does he represent?
Raise rates.
Another option.
Cut rates.
A third option, a non-exclusive list of options, but yes.
Well, and a lot of it depends on whether it's temporary or permanent. So how do you decide whether it's temporary or permanent? I got that in with 6 seconds left.
Well done.
You use 5 task forces to get to the big and hard questions instead of trying to paper it over with
you get 5 task forces
that have not been proven as successful.
Senator
Cortez man, that's good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You don't need one task force for it. You need 5.
Thank you for meeting with me.
You heard it, 5
You talked about the task
force.
forces. What's the timeline for getting reports from the task forces?
Iran, U.S. struck.
I'm not a very patient
Island
person.
around Hormuz Straits.
People have said that to do all this good work, you'll need years. I gave them 6 months.
Wonderful. Thank you. And that will be made public?
Yeah, the details, even much of the deliberations. I want to do that in the public square because we all own these decisions at the end of the day. Ultimately, decisions will be made by my FOMC colleagues. I think they'll start to get briefings on some of the early reports from the task force, early indications, hopefully as early as September, with my expectation
Louisiana.
by year-end, we're going to hear their conclusions and decide what to do with it.
Thank you. And then just for clarification, in
Might go lower.
January of 2025,
Try to be patient here,
do you
though.
recall the inflation rate? It was about 3%, correct?
I'm going to have to take your word for the precise number, but I knew inflation was still well above target.
Yeah, it was about 3%, and that's when Joe Biden left office. And the current inflation rate right now is about 3.5%, is that correct?
There are various measures. I'm confident in telling you it's been above target for 63 months. It's
Is it
not where we
above
want it to be.
3%?
By some measures, by other measures, it's not. But I don't want to suggest I'm happy with any of those measures. I'm not.
Okay, I appreciate it. Let me talk a little bit about an area that is important for me, and I think many states that deal with
I need one more good trade
industry.
I'll be happy. But
Unfortunately, under this administration, we've seen significant declines in the number of international
in the
visitors to
meantime,
the U.S. The current situation has actually led to our trade deficit in this country
for that other good trade,
going from a $51
let's go ahead and start that duck race. You guys know the drill. Type the code into the chat.
$72 billion
My boss is going to pick out 10 people, then I'll pick out some random winners myself.
The Federal Reserve governors consider this specific
going to be spot number 1.
Of higher
now, I do want to warn you guys. You got to be signed up to the email list. It's free. Your email's got to be confirmed. Otherwise, if you win, you're going to forfeit. All right, I need a way to reach out to you to get the account transferred over to you.
We are consumers
if you're
of
not
this
on it, you will
information.
forfeit.
We are keenly interested in the good side of the economy and the services side of the economy. My view, which is not universally shared in the economics profession, is that there's no limit to what this economy can grow. Productivity-led growth can move higher, and that doesn't tell me it's inflationary. But we care about the services part of the economy, and we're trying to take that into account when we try to make decisions about the dual mandate.
Well, I appreciate that because you're right. Your dual mandate is maintain stable prices and full employment. Let me tell you what's happening in the hospitality industry because of the policies of this administration. When you talk about full employment, it is not happening. What I'm hearing from people in my state is that it's not necessarily full employment with good wages
it's starting to come down now
livable
too.
wages.
Yes,
They're patching together multiple low-wage jobs because they are taking down from full employment to part-time employment. Do you consider that in your analysis, going from full-time employment to part-time and many individuals having several part-time jobs? How do you calculate that into your analysis?
So we think hard about it. You heard in my opening statement the clear judgment of my colleagues and me, which is the labor market broadly looks in balance, but I don't want to make that sound like it's easy for hardworking Americans.
All right, you guys can quit typing in the chat.
Places.
Lambo Man,
There's a lot of dynamism
spot.
happening in the economy.
I'm going to scroll through the chat and pick out some random people I see in here.
During periods of transition,
you quit typing in the chat. Nightbot is done.
The labor markets
Nightbot is done
in aggregate look better than
we're going to
people
put Raj
feel
in here. He's in here every day.
And during disruption, they try to recreate
a
job they had before.
I'm gonna give you a spot in here.
The gig economy and other means. We take it into account. Overall, I would say the labor market part of our mandate,
I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Looks pretty good. The price stability part of our mandate looks less good.
All right. And
I'll give you a spot.
I am concerned because not just Las Vegas, but many tourism-based industries and hospitality.
Apple, we'll give you a spot,
what we're seeing
Mr. Sports Equipment.
Lower full employment. And I would hope, and this is a conversation I've had with previous chairs as well. I would hope that
BK, I'll give you a spot.
Considering that it is a large sector of employment across the country. And I know you made a statement that rise in prices
Brian, give
is
you a
not
spot.
necessarily
Brutal, give you a spot.
inflationary, correct? At what point do you consider it to be inflationary? Is there a timeline associated with that?
So when an increase in prices in a particular category
David,
like
I'll give you a spot in the
oil
duck
or
race.
like milk or eggs, when we see that broaden out and affect the generalized
Oh,
price level,
Benjamin.
that's something we can do something about. That's what the way I think of inflation. When prices go up,
new lows
I know
on the
it hits your
NASDAQ.
constituents every
New
day. I'm not
lows.
trying to sound dismissive of it, but I also don't want to say that there's much that we can do about cattle prices or milk prices today.
Lows.
But there's a lot we can do to make sure that the entire grocery aisle doesn't have higher prices.
Yes,
and
trying to come down here, maybe hit the P point.
Senator Haggerty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I want to
Chairman Marshall, on July 18th,
hey, let's do the race
almost
first.
a year ago today, President Trump signed my legislation, the Genius Act, into law. A thorough rulemaking process is absolutely vital to ensure that U.S. dollar dominance exists here in the digital age. And I look forward to seeing the Federal Reserve's ongoing work in this matter. I just want to make that point clear. It's important, it needs to be done, and very much appreciate the Fed's attention to it. I want to turn now, though, to a broader concern.
Let's go.
And that has to do with the independence of monetary policy. You've had a number of conversations with my colleagues about this. I want to emphasize something that I think is quite important.
Let's get it.
The special insulation.
Remember, you got to be signed up to email list. Otherwise, if you do win, you will forfeit.
With regard to monetary policy, I think as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't extend to every other function of what the Fed does. I think it should be limited to monetary policy. For example, you think about bank regulations and supervision.
27 seconds.
That's entirely distinct from monetary policy. Regulation requires normative policy judgments about capital, about credit availability, about risk, economic growth, the structure of the banking system. All of these considerations need to roll into it.
Let's go. Let's go. Who's going to win it?
In recent years,
I don't know how many ducks we got there.
Strayed far afield. You think about what's happened with respect to climate policy, or Michael Barr's Basel III proposal.
Hey, who votes? That's an unfair duck. Brutal wins.
Setting interest rates.
Unfair.
Or managing the Fed's
Look how
balance
long
sheet.
the beak is. We need to see if this is real.
Executive
is that real?
The Supreme Court has clarified, for example, that the FDIC is subject to ordinary principles of executive accountability. Comparable regulatory functions at the Fed shouldn't be held to a different standard, in my view, simply because they sit within the central bank.
Email real quick.
So my question is this, Mr. Chairman.
See if I can find you on the email
that
list,
the Federal Reserve's independence should be narrowly tied to its monetary mandate.
Senator, thank you for the question. Like you said, independence is at its peak in the conduct of monetary policy. I believe that when I showed up.
Hey, Brutal, what's the first 3 letters of your email?
I believed at my confirmation hearing 7 or 8 weeks ago. I believe it now. In the conduct of bank and regulatory policy on things like the Genius Act, my general view is we should be working with our bank regulators, the other bank regulators, the OCC and the FDIC, see if we can't put out our rules together. What I don't think we want is any kind of regulatory arbitrage where firms are trying to game who's got the lightest regulation and race there. I don't think there's anything wrong with us working together with other bank regulators to try to figure out what's the best policy. I've got some extraordinary colleagues at the Fed. They've been able to think hard about these issues. I think those discussions should happen and do happen.
Because your name has a 99 after, or your name has 92 after it. And who I see on the list does have 92, so I'm going to send you an email.
And that is, and
just to confirm,
make an example. Let's suppose a future Congress
we have the right person
decides to embed some sort of regulatory function inside the Fed, seeking to insulate it from our supervision, from our oversight. In some way, that could become a backdoor that I don't think any of us want to see. And what I'm trying to make clear is that beyond monetary policy, I'll ask you the question.
Hey, so type in the number I sent you an email. Just type that number in the chat. I just want to make sure I didn't get the wrong person on the email list.
As a summer associate at a law firm, so I'm probably not best positioned to opine on the Supreme Court. Senator Warren could do a better job than I. I do recall in the most recent opinion a footnote from the majority that says we are not suggesting that if other things went to the Federal Reserve, it would get any insulation. Beyond that, I'm on shaky ground in trying to opine on what the Supreme Court opinion means prospectively.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for your legal opinion, but I do just think as a matter of common sense, I wanted to get that
check your spam too, make sure they go spam.
There's a real distinction here, and I appreciate that. I'm going to turn to another important matter, and that's the monetary policy report that you
email list is the first link in the description box down below.
Added a new aggregate to the measurements. The
so when I do the giveaways from videos as well,
explain why this metric
I pick it from there, and
it's been added.
Hint, wink, wink.
That was an Easter egg that we hid in there to see if anyone read these monetary policy reports.
Tomorrow?
So I'm encouraged that you did. There is almost a page talking about M2 and monetary aggregates. That was done with a purpose. I do not show up here as a monetarist. I do not show up and say the secret to inflation is if we only knew M2, everything would be swell. But monetary aggregates had been taken out of the monetary policy report probably about a decade ago, maybe a bit longer. My view is that a modern central banker should have a mosaic of information
my email, Brutal.
and should not be allergic to any data.
Oh, you know what? You might have a different email. It's the email that you get for being on the list.
He or she might have been taught
when I send emails out, it'll come from that one.
I have this old-fashioned view that monetary policy has something to do with money. I remember an old professor of mine that said, who was a proper Keynesian economist.
Short-term.
He said,
I don't
understand how to think about inflation in a place like Zimbabwe without talking about money. So I think money matters. What we witnessed when we looked at some of the monetary aggregates is they are not perfect. We don't measure money very well. We don't measure the velocity of money very well. But it's a pretty good cross-check. And had we seen the surge and paid attention to the surge in inflation,
all right, perfect. I just want to make sure it was right.
21-22.
Hey, Brutal, actually, so I have.
Sooner. I apologize, Mr.
Senator Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member. Chair Warsh, welcome to the committee. So you may know that Minnesota Senator Hubert Humphrey, who's
you won before,
once held the seat that I now occupy from Minnesota, led the charge in Congress to include maximum.
So I have your info. I'm going to just forward your info over to Think Profit Trader right now.
We can probably agree that keeping these two goals of maximum employment and stable prices within the confines of the monetary policy power that the Fed wields, that just makes sense.
Yeah, TBT.
Because it's a strategy that delivers stable prices.
The email starts with prop, right?
A strategy that delivers stable prices while working people can't find jobs or can't afford their lives. I mean, that's not a healthy economy. I expect you to agree with that.
And I do. Thank you.
So I was very interested in the task forces that you established last month to advise you on reform and modernization. And I want to just ask you about one of them in particular. You've created a task force looking at productivity and jobs. And that's really good.
I'll email you as soon as they notify me.
This task force should be able to get at the power
and
of
let you know
the
the account's
Fed's
been
dual
transferred.
mandate and ask also some of the
Perfect.
big questions that everyone is asking about the power, the impact of
Keeps
AI
going down because I kept
on
going
wages
long.
and people's income and
I
employment.
need one more good trade.
So let me just
one
ask
more good
about
trade.
this
I can get back
particular task
near
force
session
on
highs.
productivity and jobs. So as I understand it, it is
What a day.
led by three people: venture capitalist and investor Mark Andreessen, who's made billions from AI
Yes,
and
only
is
at
a major
5.25
Trump donor.
points.
Another tech executive who recently laid off thousands of people,
Well, hey, let's
and
go
then
look
an
at the
academic
Gex real quick.
economist from my alma mater, Stanford University.
Hey,
who
we're
is
almost down here.
currently
I put
on
support,
leave
too.
to
I
do
really like this.
research at Anthropic.
Down here, I put support for a buy.
So I want to ask about this. Is there anyone on the task force who has experience in the labor market, or somebody who can bring the perspective of an employer rather than an investor to the questions that are going to be asked and hopefully answered by this task force?
So if I could say two things. One is those three people you referenced are three of the smartest people that I know. And I've been...
And I'm not disputing that. I'm
Dang
wondering
it.
how you intend to
Try to
bring
get long, they didn't want to film me.
into this work the perspective of people who are working people, bring in the perspective of labor and not just investors.
Come on,
It's
just
a
smack
fair
it.
question.
Give me. Give me.
I've got 18 colleagues who are going to join me and consume the deliberations they have in the report. And we're the ones that have the dual mandate. And as I said to your colleague, there is no disfavored part of our mandate. And we're awfully focused on full employment. So that's my commitment to you. We haven't outsourced this decision to three people. What we've outsourced to is a bunch of thinking about this massive technology shock. And I'll only note one other thing. Chad Jones, that professor that you mentioned, his academic work, he's an academic, I'll admit that. But
I'm not opposed to that. I'm just trying to figure out.
But his academic work has been very, very focused on what is the effect of the labor markets of these technology shocks, both the good and the bad. And I think that history he can bring to bear to the work of the task force.
So can you understand why a task force that is led by
getting closer
people
back to session highs.
in large part
Can I
who
get
are
back up
likely to
there?
get richer by AI might not be the most credible people to folks on the ground who are doing the work, who are worried about what impact this AI is going to have on their jobs. And there's the concern, of course, is that the productivity that is expected to be delivered by AI, if that actually happens, that the benefits of that productivity are going to accrue to capital and not to labor.
Take a little scalp on
and
the ES.
That, it seems to me, the credibility of this task force rests on
down here at that
hearing
second deviation
the
band as well.
perspective of working folks in their deliberations.
I would expect before they come to their conclusions, they are going to hear from folks that will be affected. They are going to hear from employers that are getting struck with this technology shock and have disruption in their labor force. But I don't want to suggest to you that in any of these task forces that we have the 19 people of all different backgrounds. But what I want to tell you is if you think they have a credibility deficit, I don't. I think they're incredibly talented, and we will make sure to take both parts of our dual mandate in consideration of their output.
I think the issue,
I like this
sir,
area down
is
here,
that
especially
when there
being next
are
to
the
put
big guys
support.
sitting at the table, is there
Now, what about
anybody sitting at
ES?
the table who's bringing the
Screw this.
perspective of working people to those really important questions? There are labor
just hang out right
leaders,
here.
there
I
are
like the
labor
NASDAQ better.
economists, they are folks whose
In terms of where the gamut
expertise is
levels
in
are.
issues around wage stagnation and how that impacts working people. And I would ask you to consider bringing that perspective, not to be heard on the side, but to be actually at the table with the big guys. I think that is a credibility issue that you could address very easily. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Tillis.
All right, smacked it. Let's see what we get.
Good morning.
I think you're doing a great job today.
Let's
I
see what we
appreciate
get.
your composure.
on.
Mr. Warsh, a quick question on just immigration.
Go trail this up.
You know,
Keep
some
trailing it.
people are proudly
might be
discussing
too
how we
close.
had almost net zero immigration.
That might have put me back at session highs.
We're,
Wow,
we're
what a ride.
starting to look a little bit like
Green to red
China,
again today.
Japan, European countries.
I think I'm
in
back to
terms of
session
low
highs.
replacement rate.
quit
in
doing that,
terms
green to
of
red.
a natural replacement rate. So if net immigration were to remain near zero for an extended period,
Hey, we looked at
how would
options.
that change
should
your
have been looking at
estimates
this
on
too.
GDP?
Look at the options
The
flow
neutral
data.
interest rate.
It's
and
been
the
negative
amount
all
of
morning, pretty
non-inflationary
much.
job growth the economy
At least
can
from 10
sustain.
o'clock on. It's
And
been coming
in some
down. I
ways
just
it
keep trying
touches
to buy
on,
it.
I think, Senator Cortez
I
Masto's
messed up today.
question, too, about jobs unfilled, but just curious.
Thank you, Senator. You sure didn't toss up a softball there. The way I think about it is immigration policy is set by you and the administration, but we are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you to talk about policy. What I'm trying to do is communicate to the American people we can make the mistake of Western Europe, Japan, and other industrialized nations, or we can fix this population growth problem. If we don't, these are policies, then how does that make your job more difficult if we were to sustain the current trajectory?
The way those decisions affect us is it affects potential GDP.
Yeah,
the biggest,
NASDAQ's been the
hardest
weakest,
decision
but
we
if you
make
look
is
over here
what
on the
can
heat
this
map,
economy
we can
produce?
see what's really
How
taking it
fast
down,
can
too.
we grow? Potential GDP is
Look,
a function of two
Micron
things.
almost down
How many
8%.
hours are we
SanDisk
working?
down 12%.
People in this
SPX
country
down
working.
7.7. Marvel almost down 6%.
And then
Cisco
second,
down 5%.
productivity.
AMD
At the end of the
5%.
day,
If
This
the
right here is
worker
doing a
hours
lot
are
of.
constant, we need a productivity boom.
Got
Just a real
Nvidia
quick
down.
question. Would you be thrilled to
kinda
know
curious,
that we
is
can
Nvidia coming off
guarantee
the low?
zero net growth for the next decade because that would make your job easier?
We're going to take the number of hours
got
the
you.
American people and your policies produce, and we're going to do with it the best we can.
We
Look
got
at the
a
VIX.
problem.
VIX is
You
still down
can't
pretty
fix it,
low.
But what I'm saying is if we're trying to make your job easier.
Hey, we're back into
having
neutral.
this
So even though
on
we've
the
been coming
agenda
down,
is not gonna
yesterday
make your
we
job
closed at
easier. And
43.
I understand the position you
Green
have to
Green
take,
Index
but
actually
I want
getting
to point to something that people are
less
high-fiving
fearful.
and talking about.
Watch out, we got a
net
trade
zero
detector bubble.
immigration growth
Showed up
as
right
if it's
there.
a good thing. It's only a good thing if you want to repeat the mistakes of Western Europe, Japan, China, and other nations that didn't get their replacement rate right. You know, bringing in great people that may have been born in Colombia and aspired to become a senator,
You got
for
robbed?
example. Those sorts of things.
Hey, what do you mean, Paul? How'd you get robbed?
I mean, didn't get it right every time, but no.
Yeah.
The
The
Mr. Lawrence,
MAE violations
told
were on
you
the older
also,
accounts, not the newer ones.
And just for the American people, do you have a magic wand where you can just walk in and convince 7 people of the FOMC to vote exactly the way you want them to?
Perhaps I wish I do, but I do not have such a wand.
So you are one of a body where you have to gain consensus to make an interest rate move, right? Monetary policy move, right?
Yes, and it's a consensus-led organization.
And based on some of the comments from even Governor Waller, who we'd consider to be, pretty hawkish just this week, he's not guaranteeing that we're going to be able to lower interest rates anytime soon based on data-driven decisions. Did that just occur this week? In a speech, I think, up in New York?
There are a diversity of views. I wouldn't want to dwell on any one of them in particular.
No, it's okay. But what I'm trying to explain to people who think the president can give you a call.
Hey, is that
and
on
you
an
make a
older one though,
decision,
Paul?
It happens. That never happens. Wouldn't have happened.
Hey,
under
is that
Powell,
a
wouldn't happen
legacy
under you,
account?
Wouldn't happen under anybody who's responsible chairman.
If that's a legacy account, it does have the MAE
that point.
rules.
The last thing, if you could just tell me, I know you don't want to get in.
Is that
I
a
think
legacy
Senator
account?
Britt asked you some questions. I love the fact that you're doing reform. I would like to see the program, the project charter for the
Golly,
task
Cass
forces, if
Justin,
you have that.
$2,900.
Managing this,
Oh, boy.
milestones, any sort of dashboard you have, the things that
sucks.
any well put together set of task forces would have assembled for a 6-month project. I'd like to just track it, not necessarily for the record, but if you could commit to have a meeting with the people running it with me, I'd like to see that just to watch the mechanics play out over the next 6 months.
Well, yeah, I like the NASDAQ where we came out from.
Lastly, if you can,
we came down by the put
I believe
support.
Silicon Valley Bank
I like that.
is a classic example
Get ready to rip.
of why the Fed needs to have its independence on monetary policy, but on bank examination and supervision, I believe a U.S. senator should minimally be able to
Hey, the
go
boss,
into a
that's what I
SCIF
did. So I had a good night
and
last night.
understand
Last night was
why
good.
banks
This
like
morning was
Silicon
going
Valley
all right,
Bank
and then I went
had
red.
Multiple matters requiring attention, and then matters
That's not what I wanted for
requiring
today.
immediate attention.
Yes, is trying to go
before
back up.
they
I should
fail.
have held that last
And
long
nobody
on the
knew
ES.
except some
but
examiner,
the morning I had, I was like,
and likely people in
I'm
San
green, I'm good.
Francisco, in the San
I got it back.
Francisco Fed. That
I don't know if
stuff
I'm
has
at
got
session
to
highs or I'm
change.
close
I don't
to
see
it.
any rational
I
basis
don't know.
for that independence, and we've got some legislation I'd like to talk with you about. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Now, hey, just a heads up,
The
guys.
chair
I'm not getting off
recognizes
yet, but
Mr. Warnock.
I'm either gonna probably stream tonight or Power
Thank
Hour,
you so
not
very
both.
much.
I don't know which
Madam
one yet.
Chair.
So.
The American economy is heavily leveraged on the success
of artificial intelligence. And this is an issue that
hey, Paul. So
very
that
interested
account
in
is a
engaging
legacy
and talking to
account,
folks
so the
in the
legacy rules
industry and
apply.
folks outside of
Hey,
the
BK, you
industry,
think I should
various
do tonight?
stakeholders. According to a Bloomberg analysis, AI spending most recently climbed to about 8%
Hey, Raj, I'm going to look at the markets either way,
of
though.
the U.S. gross domestic product.
Like, I love looking at the
driving
markets.
the country's economic growth. Chair Walsh, you have long been bullish on AI.
If I could make a
However,
little bit
up to
more,
now,
I'll probably just
despite
skip
investors
the power
betting
hour.
big on them, none of the major
Today, we'll do
AI
power hour
models
tomorrow.
have been meaningfully profitable. What are the consequences to our economy if none of these companies ever become profitable?
No, 30% is the consistency rule.
If they were to disappoint
yes,
investors,
it might be
I think the
30%.
capital
Yeah,
markets
it's been a
would
while.
dry
Let's go
up
look
for
at
them,
that.
and some of that
Hey,
capital
Paul, that'd
investment
be a
would
good-
be curtailed.
Let's go look at that real quick.
I guess that's one way of putting it. I guess I'm getting at where ordinary folks are.
So look at
in the midst of
legacy
that.
rules.
The markets, behind the markets are real people. Who have retirement savings and who are trying to make their present as well as their future work. American retirement accounts are increasingly tied to AI.
Safety net.
And so there's the human
requirement rule
issue, driven by massive increases in the stock prices of
It's been a while since I traded legacy
AI
account. Now.
companies. You might talk about.
You might be
the
right about
current
30%.
Markets in a way, it's tall and narrow.
Yeah, I might put it over here first so I can see. I can read better on
Let's
the
imagine
screen.
if we are in an AI bubble, what would happen to our economy?
I appreciate that, Sods.
And more specifically, Americans' retirement savings if that bubble popped.
So I think it's a fair question, Senator. I take it seriously. I'm not in the business of providing a Wall Street newsletter, but I'll say broadly to your question about the effects on the economy. Booms and busts do not help the
crude
real
oil
economy.
is still going
and they
down.
don't
Crude
make
oil is
the
down
central
$1.10.
bank's job easier.
I feel like the
What
market
the
didn't
central
like
bank
that.
is trying to achieve is price stability, full employment, all in the context of financial stability. On the question of these AI companies, certainly the surge in their investment and the surge in their valuations is notable. But I'll also note one other thing, Senator. Over the course of the last couple of months, we've seen the market cap, both of the public companies and of private
Paul, I'm
companies,
having a hard time finding
under
it
some
right now.
pressure. At the overall indices, we do seem to see a broadening out. Now, why is that? Because earnings now for the last several quarters more broadly are moving up. I don't want to suggest that that should give us any complacency, but what the Fed's looking for is economic strength to broaden and the inflation that we talked about earlier to become more narrow.
Maybe this.
So I'd be worried about a massive economic slowdown. You know, the impact of Wall Street on Main Street, and I'd be worried about job losses.
Oh, hey, Paul, it is
Stock
30%.
prices tumbling would mean
30%.
Americans could not retire as planned.
The negative profit
I
and
don't want to
loss.
see taxpayers.
So, hey,
holding
Paul,
it
so the
back.
way you look at that,
Should
I just found
this
it.
AI bubble pop? I'm not against AI. AI is not going anywhere.
So you're in the 250K
It has
account,
both
right? How much
promise and
drawdown do you
peril.
have?
I just want us to be thinking critically
In that account, is it
about
6,500
this from all angles.
that you start
Earlier
out with?
this month, you announced a new task force to assess the
If
effect
it's
of
$6,500
AI
bucks, I
on
didn't buy any
productivity
of
and
those accounts I was
jobs.
going to, but I never did.
The three individuals you chose for the task
Times.
force are tech
So if any one day goes,
who have
yeah, so if
directly
any trade goes against you more than
worked
$1,950
with
bucks,
AI labs, all
then you
three of
violate
them.
that rule.
Yes or no? Will the Fed
So
include
if you had a trade
anyone
go
on
against you
this
more than
task
$1,950
force
bucks, you
with an alternative
broke the rule, and that's why you got
viewpoint
the
on AI?
profits taken away.
For example, anyone who represents the workers.
Ticket
whose
indicator
lives
won't
may be
work while
upended by
they're
increased
talking.
adoption of AI tools and
For the
technology.
silent house going through OBS.
So, Senator, it's a fair question. As I mentioned to your colleague a few moments ago, what I'd say is one of the people in
I
those
said that
task
earlier. I want
forces
one more
an
trade. I
academic.
want
Now,
one
I
more
don't want to
trade.
suggest that
One
the
more trade,
academic
and then I
is,
know
representing
for a fact.
some
You don't want to
group.
suggest that
I'm
the
good.
academic is being academic.
I don't want to suggest
rob
that,
you again
but
tonight.
this
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
a
probably,
faculty
Paul.
lounge discussion.
You let a trade go
What I
against
do
you
want
more
to
than that-
suggest is
that amount, you're
academics'
done.
work has spent a lot of time talking about prior technology shocks and the displacement that it has on labor. The assurance I can give you is that these three people on that task force, like the other task forces, they're not the deciders.
Task force.
You're talking to one of the deciders.
Right.
the 19 of us around the FOMC with a breadth of backgrounds and interest, we're going to decide what we think of their conclusions.
Yeah, well, as a decision maker, I always want various viewpoints. I certainly.
Right, come on, let's get it. Let's get it.
An academic expertise.
I'm going to take it after the morning I've had. I'm good. I'm going to see profit, take profit.
In some
I had that one trade earlier today.
Lately. But here's my problem. Americans are worried about
$500 or $600.
Senator, your time.
Stop me out for a
I'm
loss.
wrapping up, sir. And I'm worried that this viewpoint isn't represented at the Fed, and I would look to broaden.
Senator Lummis, your time is yours.
Thank you so much.
I like it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple questions about bank supervision before we go to monetary policy. The first is Vice Chair Bowman has ordered an independent review of the supervision of Silicon Bank.
Hey, so I think what I'm going to do,
banks.
I don't know.
And I think that's a really
Cheryl,
good
I don't
thing.
know.
I applaud her and support
So
her efforts
I don't know if I'm going to write my e-foil
So have you
after I eat
instructed
lunch,
your staff,
or if I'm going to do that later,
including
this
the
evening. I don't know
attorneys in
yet.
the legal division,
So if I
to cooperate?
if
with
I don't
this
do Power Hour,
independent
I will
review?
be streaming tonight.
So thank you, Senator Lummis. This call for a,
So either way,
review
it'll
of
be
what
stream
happened
tonight or
around
Power Hour. I'm not
Silicon
gonna do
Valley
both
Bank
tonight.
preceded my time at the Fed.
Yes, it did.
But
I'll
I'm
do one
certainly
or the other.
aware
I'm not
of the
sure which one.
ongoing investigation. And my general rule is that we should be
we'll see.
cooperative to investigations, and we should try to get to the bottom of the
break
facts
above.
of on regulatory and supervisory issues.
And if you guys want to give me
there
a
are
little,
rumors that there
Excuse
may
me.
have been
Hold on a second.
destruction of records by some of the staff at the.
let's do this. You guys want to give me a
Division
little
of
birthday
Bank
treat?
Supervision, and
Do
of
me a
course
favor.
that's a crime. So if records relating to the
That video I
supervision
just
of these
posted,
banks were
when we
intentionally
jump off,
deleted,
I have it
by
in the pinned
staff
message. Go
before
watch that
you
video.
were at the
Hit
Fed,
the like
before
button
you
on
ever
it and
became
leave me a
chairman,
comment in that video. I'll be
will
greatly
you order
appreciated.
your staff to assist in recovery of these records and cooperate
but
with law
I think I'm
enforcement?
going to be done trading for the time being.
I made a bold
I
statement
think I'm at
to one of
session
your colleagues
highs.
before that I was opposed to
I think I'm at
scams.
session
I can
highs,
make
so
a
I'm
bold
gonna
statement. I'm opposed
be
to
done.
criminal activity. I have
And
no reason to
go out
believe
there and
there's
spend
any
some time with my
criminal
family for a
activity
little
here.
bit.
But I think we want to get to the bottom.
I'm leaning more towards I'll probably do the
an
night stream
investigation.
tonight.
If there's an ongoing
I'll have it set for
investigation
8:30.
and
I probably won't come on
investigators
till
generally,
8
want
o'clock.
access to things.
So.
There's no reason why they shouldn't have access.
I'll probably be on at 8 o'clock, but I have it set at 8:30, but I may come on a little bit
turn
early.
to,
Depends on how long it takes to get my daughter into
proposed
bed.
Rule.
So with
that
it being
is
said,
being considered, and
I'm out of
ask
here.
for
Look
your
forward to
thoughts on the
speaking with you
proposed
guys
rule.
later.
And it has to
Don't forget to do me at
with,
Solid.
Federal Reserve
Watch
Board's
that video,
payment
leave a
accounts.
comment, hit the like button. I do truly
Skinny
appreciate
master
it.
accounts is
All right, guys,
kind of a
take care.
term that's used.